Hey everybody, what's going on?
Yep.
It's Friday night.
Friday night, we're staying in
My favorite show of the week.
because we're gonna go to the club tomorrow.
Yeah. It's always better to go on Saturday night, I feel.
Jen's still in a cute outfit though. She's not as gussied up though as what normally she is. She's in a
I'm not gussy though.
little cute outfit.
I haven't worn this dress in a long time, actually.
Yep. The weekend is upon us. For us, it doesn't make a lot of difference. Every day's about the same. We work from home.
Yeah.
But
and I work on weekends too.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But we are gonna walk you through the beginning to the weekend with some alcohol. We're gonna drink. We're gonna talk about it. It's gonna be just a wide open lines. It's like Open Lines Friday. All right. Anything you guys want to talk about? We'll talk about. Had DVD Dragon asking me earlier about a rifle. We'll talk about that. But we're gonna walk you right into late stage American Empire. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Cool.
Yeah.
DVD Dragon also said Late Night with the Devil was awesome.
Yeah,
Indeed
yeah.
it was. Indeed it was.
Yeah, people
it's actually
are starting to see it now.
It's on Shudder now.
Yeah, I want to see it again.
So I kind of want to watch it again, actually. I watched another movie yesterday on Shudder called Baghead, which was it's a British movie. It's in English, but I think it was a partial German co-production because I think some of it was shot in Germany. But it was all right. I haven't recorded the review yet, but I did like a scripty type thing for it.
Yeah.
Gramthars said Gramthars is headed to Raleigh, North Carolina next week for a work conference. First time in the South in over 20 years. Okay. Should I eat some boiled peanuts and chitlins?
Yeah, you're going to be hard to find chitlins. You got to make those at home.
Yeah, you don't really have... I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to like a restaurant or anything that had chitlins. Shit, man, even... What was that kind of... What's that restaurant, the fish restaurant that's has like all that southern stuff?
Are you talking about the Trough?
No. The one that's like a chain. What the fuck's the name of that place?
Fish restaurant.
Yeah, they have like fried green tomatoes and shit. What the hell's that?
Oh, you're talking about Captain D's?
Yeah, Captain D's.
Yeah.
Even they don't have chitlins.
Right, yeah. Captain D's.
They do have fried green tomatoes though.
Yeah, it doesn't get any more southern than Captain D's.
Yeah, that's and it's a chain. Like
right, you're not gonna find chitlins in any kind of restaurant in the South unless it's like real specialty down home. It's probably going to be a soul food restaurant, probably. Probably a black Southern restaurant. They'd have it. Ones for the general public, no. Like Chantel's.
I was going to say, I wonder if Chantel's has chitlins.
Yeah,
I never
Chantel's.
Looked.
It's a Southern restaurant, but it's soul food. So it's the same food. Southerners of white or black Southerners eat the same thing. Okay. The only difference is family recipes and the execution. But in general, it's the same food. All that, accusing black people of eating like fucking watermelon and fried chicken. No, white people eat that. That's been Southern Sunday dinner for fucking centuries.
I fucking love watermelon and fried chicken.
Watermelon fried chicken. We eat that. Grits, fucking greens, fucking pot liquor, fucking collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens. Eat them all. I got some of that shit growing out in the backyard to make salads
we have
out of
mustard
it.
greens growing in the backyard. Make salad with it sometimes.
Hominy, grits, or just hominy, everything. But find it, red eye gravy, maybe fucking coffee, fucking
black
coffee grounds,
black coffee
grounds and shit. There's all kinds of stuff we make, but. I haven't seen chitlins since I was a kid. My grandmother would make them. They'd fucking stink to high heaven. It's eating pretty low on the hog, but they liked it. They liked it. It probably is probably real similar to something you'd find in Scotland or Ireland. The same kind of shit they would eat, because that's really the main dominant ethnic group that made Southern culture as we know it today. 1700s, 1800s, they were Irish and Scottish immigrants and shit, Germans. But it would be from a specialty restaurant like Chantel's. But even she probably doesn't have it.
I don't know. I don't remember. We usually go there in the middle of the night and they have limited menu.
Yeah.
They have more stuff in the day. We've only been in the day like once or twice, and I don't remember what all, because I was like getting shrimp.
Day's better.
I was getting shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
Their shrimp and grits is
Yeah.
the best
Chantel
shrimp and
does.
grits I've
Chantel,
ever
she,
eaten.
you know, I met Chantel. She rides a Harley, full dress Harley and everything. She goes to Africa a lot, then comes back, and she does traditional Southern cooking, but with her own family recipes and some of her upgrades. Like in grits, she'll put instead of cream or cheese or some shit like that, she'll put coconut milk in them.
It makes a big difference.
Man, I never had that.
I never had that either.
Yeah,
They're like really good.
Really good.
It was really good.
Yeah. So, to this day, people still innovate on these Southern traditional recipes. They change them, depending on what's out there. They would have put fucking coconut milk in grits back in the day. It's just that we didn't have it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you could never find something like coconut milk. That would be like, what? What's coconut milk? We wouldn't even know what that was.
Zach says good news. They got an apartment. Applied for an apartment yesterday, and we're going to be moving into it probably by next week. That's awesome. CB says, Jenny, I have an idea for the next true crime episode. Can you do this Stefan's Kisco case, Britain's most infamous miscarriage of justice? It will break your heart and piss you off at the same time. Oh, I wrote it down, so we can probably do that. Jeff Yarrett says, enjoying Popeyes tonight. Low-key Southern cooking. Yeah, Popeyes is good. They're red beans and rice.
Yeah, the thing is about...
We had tacos.
The thing is about Popeyes is you can laugh about Popeyes as being kind of like corporate Southern food, which it is. But those red beans and rice, that's like the Southern standard.
Yeah.
Southerners will tell you, no, that's the best red beans and rice.
Every single
right there.
Southerner you ask will say they have the best red beans and rice.
Some people go, I don't know if they still do it, but it used to be you could go down there and just get like 2 quarts of red beans and rice. Just that. And they would take it home and people would use that as a side dish. Keep it in the refrigerator for days.
High Desert said there's a Spanish horror movie called The Coffee Table. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that. It's supposed to be pretty good. I might do that one for my next movie review because I'm kind of cheap and I'm waiting for the price to come down a little bit. Like you can rent it on Amazon Prime, but it's $8.99. So, I mean, if it doesn't come down, I'll watch it anyway because I do really want to see it. Even though the reviews I've seen of it, I haven't watched any reviews, but I just looked at people's little reaction photos on their thumbnails, and it's supposed to be pretty traumatizing. So I kind of want to see it.
Now Allison's saying she's hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can make fucking badass red beans and rice too. You want to use smoked ham hocks? Yes, indeed. And I haven't seen them in a while. They used to have them at Publix. Used to have them at fucking Winn-Dixie. You can probably still get them at Winn-Dixie.
Yeah, I think you can.
And a ham hock, set of 2 ham hocks was back in the day, and I'm talking about back in the day, it was only like 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. I haven't bought them in a long time. You get 2 ham hocks for like $1.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get a bunch of them, and you debone it. And that's the meat that's in red beans and rice. And it's meat and fat and a little bit of skin. And you pre-cook it a little bit and add it into the bean mixture, to make when you're making the beans. It's kind of like bacon.
It's good.
Yeah, real good.
Zach says, can we talk about how amazing fried eggs are on burgers?
Yeah, they're good.
Love fried eggs on burgers. They should do that everywhere.
That's a South American thing. Brazil, that's real common.
Yeah. I feel like it's not... For a while... people thought it was weird and you can really get it like that anywhere, but it's just kind of now. I think
it's French.
Maybe.
I think that's who did it first.
I thought Steak and Shake had one that
Maybe.
has a fried egg on it.
Yeah.
And obviously Red Robin and stuff like that have ones like that, but it fast food places don't have that, and I don't know why.
On a real good hamburger, you wouldn't notice it probably. Because it would just blend in with everything else that you got on there.
Eggs are good in everything.
Yeah.
I love eggs.
I kind of like McDonald's version of it was just a damn egg McMuffin, which that's fucking corporate Eggs Benedict sandwich.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it is.
I would argue
Ghetto Eggs Benedict.
that the sausage and egg McMuffin is better than the egg McMuffin.
It is. It's a little more savage.
Because the sausage is good because it's just the right amount of spiciness, and I'm not a huge fan of the ham thing that they put on the ham thing that they put on the. It's good, but I don't really. I mean, if I'm gonna get, and actually, don't they have a sausage and egg and cheese biscuit? That's even better.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a thicker biscuit. I haven't had breakfast at McDonald's in a long time. So because ever since they stopped doing the 24-hour McDonald's breakfast, that's some bullshit right there. So,
talking about Popeye. This is the Phantom talking about Popeye's biscuits. They're good too.
Yeah.
What's biscuits and what? I didn't really. Fries and biscuits.
Fries and biscuits, yeah. And they said Popeyes is my favorite fried chicken, says High Desert. I haven't had Popeyes fried chicken in a long time.
Yeah.
The only fried chicken we've had recently that we didn't make ourselves was Publix.
Publix, yeah. It's just always a little bit too salty.
I never found that it was like super salty. Like I think a couple weeks ago we went down and got like just a bag of fried, because it's easy to go down to
just right up the street
Publix and you just get a bag of fried chicken, or you could get like a whole roast chicken too, and then you get like a thing of rolls and 2 sides for like $15 or something like that.
It used to be,
and it's enough food to feed 3 or 4
people.
It
used to be that Kentucky Fried Chicken was the best.
Yeah.
Their original recipe used to be really good. They still have real good gravy and mashed potatoes. They had good biscuits too. Their coleslaw is fucking really good. It used to be really good, but I've heard it's just a grease pit now. You can't eat there. Like all the tables are covered in grease and shit.
I mean, I always
do it like a fucking through the drive-through. They have fucking bad service in general. That's what they're known for now. Bad service and bad sanitation, which I think that they've, if I remember correctly, fucking KFC, they're slipping. Like a lot of their shit's fucking going out of business. They just couldn't. Not in the right locations either. You got to go to where your fucking customers are, and you know they're not in places where customers are anymore.
Well, I was gonna say that when I was growing up, my uncle owned a KFC franchise, and my dad managed one for a really long time, like when I was a kid. And honestly, I liked the crispy more than the original, but their crispy chicken was always kind of greasy. Like even when I was a kid, I remember I liked it, but you could only eat like a piece or two, and then you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, I always thought it had too much batter on it, but it filled you up too much.
It does, yeah. You can't really eat that much of it.
Yeah, I like the original batter because you could eat more of it, and I like the spices that were in it. The crispy stuff didn't seem to have any spice in it. It was just crispy.
Yeah,
and,
I kind of like the crispy.
Kind of dry, you know. The original recipe, the batter on it wasn't quite as thick, so it wasn't as filling. It had a better flavor. It was easier to eat. Shit didn't go flying everywhere when you bit into it. And the pieces of that. Yeah. The sandwiches were good though. You know it had that crispy batter on there, but.
I used to like that KFC had those big wedge French fries, like with the skin on the back. They haven't had those in a long time.
Remember that?
I kind of feel like more places should have those, because they're like, it's kind of like a baked potato except in French fry form, which I'm a big fan of that. Phantom says McGriddles are really good at McDonald's. That's the one with the stuff, but like a pancake instead of a biscuit or an English muffin,
I think
right?
it's good.
Okay, I don't think I've ever had one of those. Everybody says they're good, but I never have one. Well, like I said, we used to get breakfast shit at McDonald's all the time because we would stop there like on the way home from the club because it was around the corner from our house, and it was open all night. But you know, ever since they don't really do it anymore, and we don't have a 24-hour McDonald's around here anymore, and they don't do breakfast at night anymore anyway. We usually end up at Waffle House, or we go to Circle K and get sandwiches and chips.
DVD Dragon asked me a question before the show started. If he's here, DVD Dragon, if you're here, drop something in the comment section. That way I know you're here, and I will answer your question on the fucking Sig Spear.
Tori Evans said, I just found out that Skyline Cincinnati Chili has a restaurant in Orlando. Have you guys had it? Yeah, I've passed it, but I've never been in there. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of chili. I like Tom's chili, and I'll, eat it when he makes it and stuff. But when I'm out, like, it never is anything that I ever feel like eating.
Because my chili didn't have any beans in it. It's all beef.
Yeah.
It's all beef. I need to make some of that again.
That's like Tom. He's all
just beef. Beef beef in sauce.
Yeah, which
Yeah, I haven't made that in a while.
I'm into that. Yeah.
But
it's going into like
beans.
Summertime now, so it's like you don't make it as much in the summer. It's better in the winter.
In Texas, there's a big fight over whether or not chili's supposed to have beans in it.
Yeah, Texans.
It's not
like,
supposed to
no,
have
it's
beans
not
in
supposed
it.
to have beans in it.
Beans are filler. Doesn't ruin the chili. It's just that high class chili is just meat.
My grandma used to put spaghetti in it.
Yeah. Well, you can pour chili over spaghetti.
No, she put the spaghetti in the chili.
In it? Yeah. That's ridiculous. She was using ground hamburger?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I think
seen
there were
it before.
beans in it too.
Right.
I wasn't a fan. I love my grandma though.
No, I remember there used to be restaurants in the South where if you ordered spaghetti, and that's what came. Spaghetti with chili on top of it.
You're like,
You
wait
had
a
to
minute,
say,
I didn't authorize this.
Yeah, I send that shit back. Oh, that's how we do it. No.
I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
That's not spaghetti. Yeah,
they
that's
should
chili.
they should like let you know that we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
slop a big thing of chili on top of your spaghetti for Christ's
Yeah,
sake.
on top of
Because that's not really something that you would assume was gonna happen.
That's ghetto as fuck. That's real white trash.
It is, yeah. That's
That's
what I
what
mean.
you get at a diner. Old Southern diner back in the 80s.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't even think they do that anymore.
No, probably not. I don't even know if there's any places like. I'm sure there are, like around here somewhere. But honestly, like even around here, like most of it, yeah, we got Waffle House and stuff like that. But most people go there for breakfast shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like eggs and hash browns and grits and toast and stuff. But shit, like I said, just a couple days ago, we went down and ate at that Japanese place.
Yeah.
Got hibachi.
Yeah.
Steak and shrimp. That's what I got.
Yeah. For those of you who are not American, you don't know what we're talking about, listen to this recorded or whatever. I know we got some people from England. Real chili. I've always heard that it was Indian. And I was thinking American Indian. But now that I'm more educated in cooking, the methods of cooking, I think they were actually talking about Indian. Because real chili actually is the same thing you do for making a curry.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's just a slightly different ingredients, but not much. It's curry. It just has a different spice profile. It's chili.
But it has a lot of the same spices as curries have.
Yeah.
As a lot of Indian dishes
Yeah.
have.
It's basically when you look at a real hardcore Texas chili mix, that's basically garam masala. That spice mix.
I mean,
It's just the recipe.
Not far off.
Yeah, it's just going to be it's going to make a red curry. And you're going to be using a meat that the Indians would never put in there, beef. You know. And but it's curry. I think that's where they got the idea. I don't know how old chili is.
I don't know. We should do like a whole. We should write a book about the history of chili. I'm sure somebody's already done that. CB says at Domino's you can get a deep fried cream egg. Well, you're in Scotland, right? I kind of feel like in Scotland, don't they deep fry everything, like deep fry Mars bars and stuff like that? You can't get that here. One thing about it, I kind of like watch videos like Weird History Food and stuff like that, and I love the ones that are kind of like, you know, fast food chains that we have in the United States that they have in other countries, and they have crazy shit like in other countries, and I'm like, why do they get all the cool shit? Because you would think that, I kind of feel like just from you know, the way that the United States is, you would think that the U.S. would have the craziest food, like fast food, but we don't. Like, ours is really boring. Like, you know,
U.S. became more health conscious recently too, as part of it.
it's not even, it's not even so much that, but it's just like, I don't know, like the shit they have like in the fast food places have in other countries is like a lot more creative.
I think the fast food joints here are actually, they're just trying to survive, I think. It's not as good as it used to be. I remember how the big fast food chains, this is in the era of television, were constantly running commercials. Every fucking week it seemed like there was a new commercial. And like every couple weeks it seemed like they had something new on the menu. They don't really do that anymore. I don't think the return is what it was. I remember when fucking McDonald's had a thing where they'd come out with a McRib. They'd bring it, and every time they'd come out with a McRib, people would lose their shit over it. Oh, I gotta get a McRib.
They're not good.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're good. They're good.
They're
They're their own fucking thing. They're good.
I mean, they're okay, but they're nothing
they're
special.
Good. You could they also have knockoff McRibs. You could buy that patty and execute that, but there's something about the McDonald's ones. It has a McDonald's flavor to it. You know what I mean? Like they have their. Every time I've had it, they taste exactly the same. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. If it's that patty and the barbecue sauce and that bun.
Yeah. What else is on there? Like onions,
and pickles.
And pickles. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten one since I was a kid, probably.
And there's really nothing special about it. But I remember I'd lose my shit when they'd come. Oh man, they got the fucking McRib. Give me two of them. No fries. Yeah. Didn't even want anything to drink. Just fucking eating McRibs.
Even though you make your pork sandwiches are like a million times better than that.
Yeah.
So I don't.
But I'd go there and get a Shamrock Shake too.
Yeah.
Once a year they have Shamrock Shake. Then they were having a Christmas shake. I think it had eggnog, right? Wasn't it an eggnog shake?
Yeah, didn't they have?
Wasn't
that?
That
That wasn't as iconic. I think.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know
It may
why
not
the
have been
Shamrock
McDonald's.
Shake like took off.
Yeah.
Because again, the Shamrock Shake is okay, but it's not like mind blowing.
It's a mint shake for those of you who don't know what it is.
And I love mint, but I don't even like it that much.
Yeah, and it comes out St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Shamrock Shake is green.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's good.
It's pretty good. But like I said, I don't understand why everybody loses their shit about it.
Good with fucking vodka in it too.
Well, that's true of most things. That's true of most things. Yeah, Tom made yesterday. He went to the DG, the Dollar General, to get some. I think he went to get some mixers or something like that, right? For the
ice cream.
for the booze, or to get some ice cream. That's right.
Yeah.
And he's like, while he was in there, he's like, I saw like those Ortega hard taco shells, except with the flat bottom.
You can stand up like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, and man, he's
Get
like,
two boxes for $4.
Yeah, 2 boxes for $4. He's like, shit, we haven't had like crunchy tacos in like a really long time, and he just bought them like on a whim.
They were fucking good, man.
They were really good.
You got to pre-bake them.
They were really good.
We had them with beef, ran out of beef. Now just made some chicken filling.
Yeah. Like yesterday we had them with beef, and then
Yeah.
we ran out of beef, so he had some chicken today, so he mixed up some
a bunch of chicken breast.
some Mexican chicken
pulled
breast.
chicken. Yeah. Real good. And then
You got like fresh cilantro in there.
It's fresh salsa that I made.
Yeah.
I used them Siberian tomatoes I got growing out there. Fucking
In the garden. Yeah.
I grow cilantro. I grow fucking parsley, and
Tomatoes.
the tomatoes, and then I used onion, but I didn't grow the onion. I bought the onion, and I put a little bit of lemon juice on it, and a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper, and just mix it up. I think I put a little bit of. No, I didn't put cumin in it. It's just salt, pepper, cilantro, and
Man, it's good.
It just,
that was
good.
good.
It just sits in there and it just kind of marinates, and the salsa gets better as it sits there. It's not really salsa. I think you probably call it pico de gallo.
Yeah.
Is what they'd call it.
Yeah, because it's not. It was just like chunks.
Yeah, it's just chunks.
Like chunks of tomato and chunks of onion.
Yeah, well, it's now. I just made a new batch of it, and the next one has red bell pepper in it too.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah, you had some. That's what was in it. What you had.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there were red bell peppers in there. But yeah,
shit's all being born out there. We got to start eating it. I got a shit ton of fucking.
What else have we got out there?
We got a lot of onions, or not onions. We got a lot of tomatoes. I got to use up. Or
That's
making
okay.
the
I love
sauce.
tomato. I love tomatoes.
Okay.
You know, it's like sauce. Put them on sandwiches. Put them in a salad. I'll eat them. Shit, I'll just eat them plain.
Got a bunch of
Slice them up and put salt on them.
Got a bunch of hot peppers coming. Got a bunch of bell peppers coming. Got a bunch of eggplant. I got about 7, 8 plants sitting there, and there's probably about 10 of them still out on the vine over the next couple days.
I could not
I got a bunch of eggplant.
believe how fucking fast those eggplants.
Yeah.
We have so
They get
much
big. Yeah.
eggplant. Like you don't even know.
Oh, look, that free money. Thank you. Who was that?
Hey, thank you very much, Cady.
Cady.
Thanks for getting Pat and I through work. Gonna try the biscuits and gravy recipe from you guys' cookbook
you
tomorrow.
like this. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Just don't get fat. That shit make
Well,
you fat.
you're not gonna get fat on that
Yeah,
one.
that shit'll get you fat,
dish.
man.
But whoo, I can't eat a lot of that. It's very heavy.
Yeah, just don't get like.
It's good though.
Just don't get to like addicted to gravy, biscuits and gravy. Yeah, you can use sausage in that shit. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be high end sausage. It can be cheap sausage. That's still good.
Like
even
Jimmy,
if
like
it's just
Jimmy
a little
Dean
sausage
or something.
patty. I'll get the Jimmy Dean plastic, like
They call that a chub.
chub. Yeah, use that. Just cook the whole fucking thing, and don't drain any of the grease out of it, man. Just
Leave that shit in there.
butter. You can scoop the meat out.
I mean, it's already got 4 bajillion calories,
Yeah.
so you might as well just lean into
You
it.
can take a slotted spoon and scoop some of the meat out. Just leave that fucking grease in the bottom of it. Put a fucking stick of butter in there, and then just start putting fucking flour, and just put it in there. Kind of slowly mix it and make like a roux and cook it, and then you start and then once it kind of browns a little bit, start putting milk in there, and it'll slowly, and it'll loosen up, and then put the meat back in. Hell yeah. Black peppercorns if you have that. Shake a red pepper if you want. I don't remember the exact recipe that I gave you, but when that cookbook, we did the most traditional, simplest, basic ones. But like I say in the cookbook, you can modify things depending on what you have.
Well, yeah.
But you can pre-make a bunch of gravy, black pepper gravy or sausage gravy, whatever you want to call it, white pepper gravy, sausage gravy. You can keep it in like a big quart container, and it'll keep in the refrigerator for days. Put it on omelets, put it on hash browns. That's what I'm saying. Don't get fat. You end up making a lot of it at once.
It's good on hash browns.
You can freeze it too. That's another thing.
Yeah. You can freeze a lot of stuff. I mean, like, because a lot of times, if Tom's going to make something, he'll usually make a fuck ton of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll eat on it for a couple of days, and then he's like, okay, well, we have a fuck ton left, so I'm going to put it in the freezer. And then, like, a few months later, he's like, hey, I'm going to pull that back out. Like, whatever it was, lasagna or whatever the fuck he made.
Yeah.
And it's like, and honestly, you can't really tell the difference.
If you pack it right.
If it's, yeah.
If you know how to pack it for freezing. Yeah, and certain things won't freeze, other things will. Just depends on what you're doing.
I mean, it depends what it is. But holy crap, like, we had so many eggplants. We made, like, a fuck ton of baba ganoush. Yeah. And we ate that for, like, several days with, pita bread and stuff. And then he made, like, a couple of big pans of lasagna, but using eggplant instead of noodles. Mm-hmm. Like, he did that, too. And, I can't even remember what else we did with all that eggplant. Plus, we, like, cut it up and put it in other things. Like, put it in curries and stuff like that. It was just kind of like when we had all that pumpkin from Halloween. Yeah. Like, we were just putting it in everything.
What I was doing is a lot of times I would just take it, dice it up, and roast it, and then just keep it separate and use it as a pre-cooked ingredient in other things. Just doing stuff like that with it. Yeah. Because you can't reheat that too many times. Like, say you're going to make some kind of like Thai soup with it. You can't cook that very many times. It'll disintegrate. So, look at the cat. Okay. She's in the cat box making all kinds of... She's just throwing shit around.
Because I have that Tidy Cat Breeze, the pellet system, and she loves those pellets. She's just like, wee! And she just like throws them everywhere. I think I'm going to go back to traditional litter.
She plays in it too much.
She plays in it too much, and she throws the pellets around, and I keep stepping on them in the middle of the night. Yeah. So, you know what I mean?
So, what I was saying is, got to be careful with eggplant. You only, can cook it once. So, I use it as a component. If you're making Thai food, you can use it as an ingredient later, because sometimes when I get into a Thai thing, I might have 2 or 3 days worth of Thai stuff coming and going. But you got to keep the eggplant separate. And you add it towards the very end just to reheat it in the sauce and then serve it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you did that Thai thing with all the eggplant.
We're about ready for another fucking Thai curry, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what makes me sad? Like, we found that cool Thai restaurant that I think we've talked about before.
Yeah.
What's it called? Snay.
Snay Thai.
Snay Thai.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's in this real, like, dumpy looking strip mall. Like, you wouldn't even know that it was there, really. It's tiny. And it's a tiny little place. There's only, like, 5 tables in there. But, man, that fucking food is so good. Only problem, though, is that sometimes it'll be Saturday and we'll be like, man, we're going to go out to eat. And I'm like, man, I want some pad thai, or I want some yellow curry or something like that. And they're supposed to open at 11:30. But a lot of times when we've got there at, like, 11:30, 12, they're not in there yet. And so we just kind of hang out and wait for them, and then they don't show up, and we're like, okay, well, never mind. We're going to go someplace else then, because we don't want to wait. But, man, their food is really, really good. Honestly, they have the best. What are those little, not crab rangoons, is it? It's the little, shit, man. The little
they were crab rangoons.
Yeah.
But they have a Thai version of them.
They have the best ones of those that I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah.
Like, for an appetizer. They were like little pillows. Yeah. Oh, the texture of them was so good.
Yeah, they took some... probably canned crab meat, mixed it in with some cream cheese, and I think they put a little bit of what was that?
Yeah, what was it that was in there that we were trying to figure out? Yeah,
I think it was the yellow one. What's the yellow one I'm thinking of? Turmeric. I think it's a little bit of turmeric.
Yeah, that's right.
It was slightly yellow.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what it was because I said, man, I've never tasted ones like these before.
A little bit of garlic, probably a little bit of ginger in it.
Yeah. But slightly, like it
yeah,
wasn't.
real slight, real mild flavor. And then they'd put them in a wonton wrapper and fry them and deep fry them real quick. And they come to be real fucking hot and fluffy.
Yeah, they're super fluffy.
Yeah, better than a Chinese one. But that's a Chinese, or it's probably, they say Chinese, probably more like Chinese hotel recipe, probably from.
That's the thing. A lot of Chinese food, or what Americans think of as Chinese food, is not Chinese food.
It's not Chinese, no.
I mean, you know, there's a whole. We watched a whole documentary like that was kind of talking about that. That a lot of it just came from. I mean, it's not that it's not. It's just from Chinese people that immigrated to the United States, and then we're trying to appeal to American tastes, and they've like, but with shit that was similar, but shit they could get here.
That's
so it's
close.
not really the same.
That's close though. Actually, what they were doing was, if you remember correctly, how it went. It was cooks in hotels and resorts that sold to American people.
Yeah.
And they were making stuff to sell to Americans in not in China, but Hong Kong. Hong Kong, and what's the little island?
Taiwan.
Taiwan. Okay. So they had international customers coming there. Those cooks would come up with these special hotel recipes, and then when they sold well in Hong Kong and Taiwan, those recipes ended up like in places like San Francisco, you know. And then they spread from there, from California into the rest of the United States, through like these Chinese restaurants. Now, those Chinese restaurants that you see here in the United States, I've noticed that they all kind of have the same menu, the same photographs, a lot of the same decor. I heard that they're basically more like franchises. That a Chinese American person or a Chinese person in the United States can order all those supplies from a Chinese company to make a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, well, I mean,
without
that makes
having
sense. That
any
makes sense.
knowledge of restaurant, and they evidently have like training seminars and stuff and videos for them to watch on how to make a Chinese restaurant, how to run it, and that the franchise they have the right to give it its own name, but then they suggest to them what to call it, like China Walk, City Walk 2, Chitty Walk. Shitty Walk. That's another.
China Star. A lot of them
China
are
Star.
called. We
Yeah,
have like
Golden
a bunch.
China.
We have a bunch of those.
They're
Around
all
here.
just picked out of this damn fucking list of names, and evidently it's the Chinese government that's really like funds it.
Sure.
So it's kind of like their version of McDonald's conquering a continent, because we do it.
Yeah.
They do it a different way. They don't look like. They all look like different restaurants. They all have a different owner, but they bought into
usually
a franchise, and each one of them has a different name. But if you trace the supply chains, it's all the same restaurant basically.
Well, they probably order from the same suppliers and stuff. But like each one is owned by a different family and stuff like that.
That's the way KFC used to be. Yeah. It was an individual person that bought into the franchise, but they had to fucking use the KFC spice mixes in the restaurant and spice mixes and recipes, and they had to call it Kentucky Fried Chicken. They don't have to. These Chinese people, they can call it anything they want.
They can call it whatever they want. Yeah. CB said the American Chinese food is horrible. It's better in the UK. I don't know if I ever did. I ever have Chinese food over there? I can't remember.
It's going to depend on where you're going.
I mean, I have had some shitty Chinese food here, but I've had some really good Chinese food here.
Yeah, depends on where you are.
It depends where you go, and you never really know.
Yeah, it's all trial and error.
You have to kind of
And some places might have 3 or 4 dishes that are really good. The rest of it's not that good.
I mean, we have a Chinese place. What the hell is it called? China Chef.
China Chef. It's right.
China Chef of Sorrento. It's down the street, and it's all right.
It's all right.
I mean, which you know what I mean. It's good in a pinch. Yeah. The sesame chicken is good. You know, I've had a couple other things that were good. It's not great, but it's decent.
There's a show on which one that had the one about Kung Pao or what was it? Not Kung Pao. What was it? General Tso's Chicken.
Yeah, that's right.
That was on Netflix, wasn't it?
I think it might have been on Netflix. Yeah, this is going back a couple years that we saw it. So I don't know if it's on there anymore, but
Netflix
I think it was
used to have this thing about it was a documentary about General Tso's Chicken. They're trying to do an investigation to figure out where that came from. Who the fuck is General Tso? I mean, where does
see shit like that's so interesting to me though. I love food history.
Right, and it's the most popular dish, biggest selling dish in the United States. General Tso's Chicken. I like it. It's never the same though, and they talk about that in the documentary. And it's not the same because nobody knows the recipe. They finally tracked down where it came from. It came from a casino in Taiwan. They had a chef there who made it. It was been back in the 60s. It's not old. They want to walk around and fucking like, oh, it's thousands of years old. This is an ancient Chinese secret. No, it's fucking 60s.
Ancient Chinese secret, like that fucking
yeah
commercial for laundry flakes or whatever.
No, it's from the 60s, man. It's not that old. And they tracked down a chef from Taiwan who knew the dude who made it. And he wasn't quite sure what the recipe was. He didn't know what it was, did he?
Not really.
He just knew what it tasted like.
Yeah.
And
he's like, I don't know, I was just fucking winging it.
He said that chef never gave the recipe away. And all the versions of you have now were based upon chefs trying to execute it based on the way it tasted. And then it would go down to a second layer of chefs where they're tasting only the copy, and then they're making each one of those copies. People were modifying on that, and that the chef that actually remembered what it actually tasted like. He says, "I know what it tastes like because there was an ingredient in there he knew you had to have." And he says, "Nobody has it anymore." So as soon as he tastes, he goes, "No, it's not it."
He's like, "But I'm not going to tell y'all bitches what it is, though."
And they're going like, and then he would say, "This is close, but it's still not it. This is close to it."
Was it something weird like tamarind or something?
I don't know. He didn't say.
Oh, okay.
They asked him. They said, "Well, what is the ingredient?" He goes, "I'm not going to tell you. Just that I know what it was."
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Basically, yeah. I don't think he ever knew the exact recipe, but he could taste kind of what it was.
Right.
And he goes, "I know the original. I'm not going to tell you."
What a butthole. No,
these guys were fucking, they're chefs. Like,
fuck I know. I get it.
He was saying that,
you don't want everybody making you.
He says that he can make it. That he can make it, and it tastes real close. He didn't have it exactly.
I'm not a huge fan of General Tso's chicken, I gotta say. It's not
it depends on who's making it.
That's true.
Because each nobody knows the recipe. Right. They're making it up. They don't even remember what it really tasted like originally. That one guy who knew the chef, I think he worked under him for a few years, said he's never tasted it done correctly. That he's tasted some things that were pretty close, but his is the closest to it, and it's still not right. But he says it's the closest because he knew it had something in it, and his has that in it. But the other people are just basing their copies on other copies of other copies and other copies. So he was just saying, "No, it's just some sweet shit. It's brown. It's got chilies on, peppers on it. That ends up what it's like. Sweet, gingery." He goes, "And that's not the way it tasted."
Victor says, unpopular opinion for sure, but Indian food is better in the U.S. than in the U.K. Ooh.
I've never had it in the U.K. I've seen pictures of it in the U.K. and it says, that looks kind of funny looking.
The thing about it is that it's a lot more widespread in the U.K. and a lot of fish and chip shops, like corner fish and chip shops, will sell a few Indian food dishes just because everyone eats it. They consider it British food. So, I've had Indian food from there, and it was okay. Like, it's not great, but I will note, we have like
British place here.
Even in this area, well, it's kind of a drive. We have two good Indian restaurants. Fifth Element, which is in Lake Mary. Yeah. That's Lake Mary, right? Yeah. And that's a buffet. You can order shit off menu too, but most people do the buffet.
And it's just Indians eating in there.
Yeah, usually when we go, we went last weekend. We were the only white people in there.
Yeah.
We're the only non-Indian people.
You can look it up. It's called Fifth Element in, Lake. Where's it?
I think it's Lake Mary. It's right by the Sam's, and I think that's Lake Mary.
You can see it on Google, and it's a pretty restaurant. It's got a pretty ceiling on it, made out of like fucking
all the tin tiles
and bronze and stuff.
I love it.
And in that area are Indian upper middle class and upper class people that live here for the IT services. Most of them aren't here for very long. They rotate them out through their visas don't last long, and I've heard that there are some complaints of them because my family's friends with some Indian doctors that are here. They've been here forever. And they get all kinds of complaints that those companies that are rotating them in here are kind of abusing them. They're here for about 18 months, and then they realize that they're kind of fucking being underpaid and kind of like getting the shitty end of stick. They send them back to India and bring in a fresh batch.
That sounds about right.
That's what they're doing, yeah. And it's an Indian company doing it with the help of the U.S. somehow.
But it's just, yeah, like, I kind of feel like we go to that restaurant, like, probably once every couple weeks. Like, we went there last Saturday, for example. Saturday or Sunday we went. And, you know, it's a buffet. It's not huge. It's just, like, a tiny little corner. And sometimes they have, like, a bunch of good dishes, and sometimes they just have, like, a couple of good dishes and then some that are, like, not that great. But last time we went, like, everything was good. I will say that they have, like, a lot of good meat dishes, but their vegetarian dishes are the shit. Like, all of their vegetarian dishes are always good every single time. And, like, sometimes I'll go, and I don't even mean to eat all vegetarian dishes, but I do because that's, like, what's good.
Go down, you're way behind.
Yeah, I know. Well, thank you very much, Zach. By the way, I've got real into SCP Foundation stuff lately. Yeah, I wrote it down. I haven't. It's been in the poll, but it didn't win. Like for a topic. I mean, think you guys should do a show on it. Maybe a cool place for you to do some horror writing too, Jen. Yeah, I have like heard about doing that. But yeah, I did like write it down.
Garcia's stated about General Tso chicken.
General Tso debuted in New York City in 1973, according to Wikipedia.
No.
Anyway.
Well, that's where it debuted in the United States, probably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, they had in that documentary a guy from Taiwan who didn't even speak English. He knew exactly what chef made that, and it came out of a restaurant in a casino in the 60s. I think it might have been late 60s, mid to late 60s, around that time. And only that chef knew the recipe, and it was a huge hit down there. And he said quickly everybody tried to copy it. That's the same thing with butter chicken. Butter chicken is not.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
It's not some kind of fucking ancient, traditional Indian dish. It's from the Taj.
Yeah.
Which is a fucking
yeah,
hotel.
the chef there made it.
Yeah, and it's not old. I think it's 60s or 70s. 70s, I think.
God, butter chicken is so fucking good.
And it's the same thing. They get it wrong. You got to go to the Taj to get butter chicken where it's real. Everything else is a copy. And fucking Gordon Ramsay went to the Taj to fucking eat it. And he goes, "Oh God, that's not what he goes, this is butter chicken." He goes, "This is what it is." But, yeah, it's what it's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
you get
variations.
civilian versions of these, as you know, the knockoffs. The knockoffs are more famous in ways than the originals, because the original stayed the same. The knockoffs mutated.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Tom's butter chicken, like you make it a couple different ways.
Yeah, I make it a couple.
Is like famous among our friend group. He made it for some of our friends when they came over one time,
parties, yeah.
and they told everybody.
Yeah, my butter chicken's the best.
So now that like when people come over, they always ask him to make either that or pizza.
Well, my butter chicken recipe was based on Gordon Ramsay's butter chicken that he based on the Taj's version.
Right.
Okay.
Because
I wouldn't give him the recipe.
Because I bought him the Gordon Ramsay's Indian food cookbook.
Yeah. They wouldn't give him the recipe. They're not going to give you a recipe.
He's like, "Fuck you, I'll figure it out."
But
I'm Gordon fucking Ramsay.
He said that's pretty much it, he thinks.
Right. Yeah. The only thing about that that's a great cookbook, by the way, the Gordon Ramsay one that's all the Indian food. I bought it for him like several years ago for Christmas or something. And the only thing is that a lot of the recipes like aren't real spicy. But that's, I mean, he just makes it like mild.
Yeah, he makes it very civilian.
And then you can add, because I can't eat real spicy food either. Like, not anymore. Like the older I get, like the less spicy, you know, I'll have a bad time. Like if I eat real spicy shit, so I have to eat mild stuff too. But I was gonna say like yeah, Fifth Element is good, and that's like a what did I just say it was? A buffet.
It's a buffet, yeah.
And then also in Lake Mary, there's one called Memories of India, and there's two of those. There's one in Lake Mary, and then there's one on International Drive in Orlando where all the tourist shit is, and they have probably the best lamb korma that I've ever eaten. Yeah. Their lamb korma is so good.
It's good. And it's not like anything out of any of the recipes I've executed.
No.
It's its own thing.
We can't figure out quite how, because he replicated, like their shrimp masala, you replicated that.
Well, I found the mix that they were using.
And it tasted almost exactly the same as theirs, which is really, really good. But we can't figure out how they make the lamb korma, though.
They bought it. They're used it's a pre-made mix that they bought, spice mix. It's their version of garam masala. I just don't know which one it is. There's fucking hundreds of them.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of different ones. You just buy them in a little box. It's just a mix of spices, like in various.
Some of them are close. I'm like, that's almost like that's not the exact one.
It's every time we go to the restaurant, like, and we went there probably like 3-4 weeks ago, because we haven't been in a long time. Yeah. And I forgot how good a deal it was. They give you this giant. I had a big thing of lamb korma, and then they give you like naan bread. They give you like the. What are those crunchy things? I can't remember.
It's kind of like a patia. What do they call it? It's almost kind of like a little fucking Pringle made out of fucking.
Yeah, I can't remember
lentils.
what those are called. And then they give you
and it's got
then they give you
black pepper in it.
All the sauces, and then they
they call them pickles.
Yeah, and then they also
pickle
give
chutney.
The what do you call it? The thing in the dough. Shit, why can't I remember words
dough.
anymore? Yeah, you know the.
They have a little thing of raita, which is like the.
Right, but no, the the thing with like the peas and the potatoes and shit in it.
Oh, pakora.
Thank you. Yes, I couldn't remember the word.
Yeah.
So so they give you
samosa.
Samosa. Yeah. So they give you one of those, and so you get all that. It's this massive platter, and you get mango ice cream that they make in there.
Yeah.
That is delicious.
Yeah. For under $15.
For like $14, $15,
yeah.
And it's just all of it is like really really good, and it's a huge amount of food. And I don't know what they put in it's got slivered almonds in it, the lamb korma. Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's very deluxe.
Every time I go,
it's not authentic, but it's packed full of Indian people in there eating it. They like it.
See, that's that's kind of the thing. Like, you kind of want to go to a restaurant. If you go in there and it's just like all like chubby white people, you're just kind of like,
you're probably not.
This might not be. This might not be that good.
It's going to be bland, and it's going to be. You want to go where. You want to go to an Indian restaurant in this area. You want to go to an Indian restaurant where Indian people are eating.
Yeah.
And our Indians here, like I said, they're all tech people. You know, they speak fucking great English. They got money. They know good food. They like it here. Fucking. I know some of them. They don't want to go back to India. They want to stay here. Fucking. They love it here. And then they're fucking patriotic. America's the great. They make real good Americans. At least the class that are coming here. Those are the kind that you actually want to stay. You want them to stay. They fucking work, man. They make technology and shit intelligent. They fucking blend right in real easily. They marry Americans when they can. And
a lot of them lived in our old neighborhood, too.
Yeah, they end up like my friend Nancy. Nancy's from India. Her family's from India.
Yeah, you can actually get really good Indian food around here.
Yeah.
You can get real good, like I said, just down the street in this kind of backwater a little bit. You can get really good Japanese food.
Yeah.
Right down the street.
Yeah, it's not like the South is not like it was, especially Florida. Florida was always kind of like one of the better, more advanced. Well, I don't say advanced. That's a bad way to put it. It was more of a tourist area of the South, so it had a lot more influences. It had better supply lines. We had better shit on the coast, so that means you could get stuff from overseas a lot easier here. So the food was good. You had hotels. James Bond was here in the 60s. You had anything, that's where we're laughing because we saw that movie.
We watched Goldfinger last night.
But other parts of the South, in general, there wasn't enough activity there to where, like in Mississippi, you couldn't get Indian food. You can now.
Yeah. Thankfully, because they didn't know. People didn't know what they were missing.
They're missing, right?
God, I love Indian food.
You couldn't get Mexican food in Mississippi. Now it's filled with Mexican food because a lot of Mexicans live there. Last time I was in Laurel, I was driving to a fucking Starbucks, and I was going, man, I want a Starbucks in Mississippi. It's exactly like a Starbucks anywhere else. Yeah. And on the way there, I passed a taco truck. They were selling tacos, and in line, about 50-50 mix of Mississippians, white Mississippians, and Mexicans. Getting fucking real tacos.
Yeah.
It's not
like
real taco like from Mexico. And they're sitting there, they fucking loving them. So it's not the same South as it was when I was a little kid.
Yeah, because
it's got a lot more stuff.
When I was growing up, Chinese food was like the lechoy shit you bought at the
that's some exotic shit there. No, we have everything.
They came in a can.
Yeah.
And that was like some exotic shit. Ooh, we're having Asian food tonight. It's like in the fucking
all you gotta do
chow mein or whatever the fuck it is.
Watch some old 70s and 80s movies made in the South, like Burt Reynolds movies, like fucking white lightning and fucking Smoking the Bandit, and look in the background where they're driving. That's the way the South used to look. It was just very green, single houses everywhere, bunch of cheap looking gas stations that look like they were made in the 50s.
Which you still see some of those every now and then. And around here, there's some shit that looks like that, too.
Yeah, most of it's in ruins, though.
But, yeah, a lot of it's, like, abandoned.
Yeah.
But it's still there. But, like I said, it's just... There's not a lot around here, but there is, like, a Chinese restaurant. There's a Japanese restaurant. They just built a new Dunkin' Donuts, which that's not neither here nor there. But, you know,
But the thing is you drive 30 minutes and you're 40 minutes and you're downtown Orlando. I mean,
yeah, we're only 28 miles from downtown Orlando.
Yeah, so Jenny's perspective is a little different than mine. She's never lived in the real fucking country, deep south, where you got to go 3 hours to be anywhere. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit here.
But to me, 30 minutes is too long.
Yeah, she's like, that's too long.
To get anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm impatient.
Just up the street, she was talking, we got a British restaurant here.
Yeah, it's in Mount Dora. It's called the Magical Meat Boutique.
Yeah. It's about 6-7 miles from here, probably. Did you say about 7 miles, probably?
Yeah, I think it's about 7-8 miles, something like that.
And it's owned by British people. They got it's an American guy owns it, but his wife runs it. She's British.
Yeah.
Got all tatted up.
She's delightful. She's like a biker.
Yeah, yelling. Yeah. British as hell. And the food's fucking, according to Jenny, just like what you would get in England. And I'd get fish and chips, which are good, but man, there's a lot of food in it.
It's
all
a
those
lot
potatoes,
of food.
Man, I get full.
I wanted to get it, like, because we went there, like a while back, because it was my birthday, and I was just kind of like, I want to get something different. And I was like, oh, look, they have like a British restaurant or a British pub or whatever. Yeah. And it's in Mount Dora. Yeah. Like, and Mount Dora is kind of like, it's a little bitty
You can Google it.
town.
Magical Meat Boutique.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
In Mount Dora. Magical Meat Boutique, Mount Dora. You'll see
But
it.
Mount Dora is like this little bitty town. And it's like these little bitty narrow like one-way streets and everything like that, but in every weekend it gets super packed. Everybody goes down there because there's all these cool little boutiques and antique shops, and people just love to like they close all the streets off every weekend and have big street festivals like where people sell food and art and stuff like that.
They got an Indian restaurant down there too.
They got it. We've been to the Indian restaurant down there too. It's pretty good. It's not as good as the ones up here.
It's small and it's kind of overpriced, I thought. It was pretty though.
But it was it's nice in there.
Yeah.
But it was small, and you know I don't think it was as good as Memories of India.
Nah,
I can't remember what it was called, Lotus or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But I don't remember what it's called. But
it's not worth it to go there. It's better to just go to fucking Memories of India or fucking.
Which is Memories of India is kind of a drive.
Further, but it's better
from here. Yeah. It's not quite as far as Fifth Element, but it's. Well, no, it is a little farther than Fifth Element.
So at that place, I got some taste of British food and. Jenny was able to confirm, because she lived in the UK for how long was it?
Probably about. Well, I was married to a British person for 14 years, so I went back and forth. We used to go every year. Yeah. I lived there for about 6 months off and on.
Yeah. Okay.
But we would go back like every year, and we'd go for like 2 weeks at a time or a month at a time or something.
So she was my barometer as to whether or not it was legit food. She said it was legit. And I was ordering stuff that like fish and chips because I thought that was like the best thing there. She had some of this other stuff.
I get like meat pies. And stuff.
Like meat pies and stuff. And I wasn't about it, man. I thought it was
I like those.
Kind of stodgy, a little bit bland. They had that damn HP sauce on the fucking table. They had that in fucking Egypt too. The British were feeding us there, and you had that other curry thing.
Yeah, I've never had that there though.
It wasn't for me. What was it? It was It was so some people saying that the British food, the Indian food in England isn't that good. I only had one thing that had curry in it, British curry, and it was like weak. It kind of had like a weak flavor to it. I didn't like it that much.
But the thing about, like I said, I didn't
curry meat pie.
Yeah, something like that. But the thing about it is that, like I said, I didn't eat a lot of Indian food when I was in the UK. And the Indian food that I had was just from like fish and chip shops, like because they would have a few dishes like that. Now, like you can say like some of it's mild and stuff like that, but some of it was like super hot.
Was it?
You know what I mean? So so hot that I couldn't eat it.
What we had here, I thought it was kind of bland and also like kind of basic. What the British are eating or at least from what I saw at the restaurant, is pretty much kind of like what old people food from the United States used to be like.
Kind of.
Yeah. Which was before spice really came into the mix.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember old people that couldn't handle black pepper.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh my god, it's so spicy."
It's so spicy. Yeah, like what?
Just put like black pepper, which is
It's
like
fucking black pepper. What are you talking?
It's not spicy at all, unless you suck it right up your nose. Like,
yeah. We had these things when I was a kid. I remember them. They were called smorgasbords.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like a buffet with fucking the most Scandinavian, supposedly it's probably fake Scandinavian food, but it was just the worst white middle America food you could possibly imagine. It was just, everything was very fucking bland.
Yeah.
It would be like steamed trout with some spam.
And like boiled vegetables. Like with all the flavor boiled out of them. And they don't have any like spices on them.
Bunch of potatoes. Peeled potatoes that were boiled.
Which I love potatoes, but you gotta like put some stuff on that shit.
And there might be a carvery on there where they had like a fucking ham that you could cut off, or maybe a fucking dry looking roast beef. The only thing that was like the flavor mechanism for the smorgasbord was brown gravy.
Yeah.
If you didn't have any flavor, put some brown gravy on it. And then like there might be something real fancy at the end, like fucking sweet potatoes or yams. With some brown sugar on it or something.
I mean, that's good. But
yeah, but that was getting,
we have that
daring.
We have that at Thanksgiving sometimes. But yeah, it was like, woo, we're getting crazy.
Yeah.
Getting crazy.
Well, they fucking have kind of addressed that in some of the culinary programs on TV, that there were smorgasbord type restaurants still around, floundering, with clientele that were in their fucking 80s still going to them. You know,
we still laugh about that Kitchen Nightmares episode.
Yeah, fucking Gordon Ramsay.
Fleming's.
Fleming's, that's right. It
was Danish, right?
Danish,
and
right.
It was in
Miami.
Miami.
It was in Miami, Florida.
It was in Miami. I'm like, who the fuck? And all of their clientele was like, had 1 foot in the grave.
1 foot in the grave, yeah.
They did the tinfoil swans. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, man. And everything was on the menu. The show on the menu was boring as fuck.
Yeah, like
it was
nothing...
like something from the 60s. And,
so funny.
Fucking Gordon goes in to meet the chef, the head chef, right? He's looking at all this shitty ass food. And he goes and meets the head chef. The head chef's squared away. He can cook. He's doing what he's told to do. And he goes, "What's the problem here?" And he goes, "The menu."
He's Cuban, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, "What are you? He goes, "Are you Flemish?" He's like, "No." He goes, "What are you?" He goes, "I'm Cuban."
He's like, "Obviously,
"Can you cook Cuban food?" He's like, "Oh hell yeah."
Maybe that's what all they did. Making,
they just said, "Fuck this shit." They went over to Cuban
food is delicious,
and that shit started banging on all fucking cylinders. All those old people ran, and it was nothing but just fucking younger people came in and eat. And some of the old people stayed. I think they liked it like that too, but not as many because there's a little bit of flavor to that food.
Yeah,
and a lot of the older generation of Americans kind of had a very narrow window of acceptability when it came to their palate. They
were kind of too old to try any new things.
They didn't want to try anything new, and they didn't want anything with a whole bunch of flavor on it. Flavor, that's dangerous. What are you talking about?
Who knows what might happen?
Who knows what might be in that?
You might actually have fun, or like something might taste good. And then what could lead that? What could that lead to? Dancing?
Yeah.
Goodness.
And
fornication?
They got good Cuban food here. They got good Brazilian food. There's a couple churrascarias here. Texas do Brazil. That's really good. Just like Brazilians own it. But you're going to pay. You go to Texas.
It's very expensive.
It's about $100 a person. But it's going to be all you can eat. Beef, pork, fucking chicken. Fucking, they're going to wheel around carts with fucking desserts on them. It's all you can eat. And this shit's fucking really good. I sit there and just eat fucking dozens and dozens of chicken hearts. And
Tom loves chicken hearts.
They're salted and roasted over an open fire. All the food is over an open. It's Brazilian.
I can't quite go. I'll eat pretty much anything, but I'm just kind of like,
Churrasco is Brazilian barbecue. And when I lived in Brazil, man, I got addicted to churrascarias, which is the place where you have churrasco. And you get fucking loaded in them, drinking cachaça or caipirinha made out of cachaça, which is like pure sugarcane alcohol. You pour it into a fucking shot, into a glass, into a small tumbler. Pour about a fucking quarter cup of sugar in it. Whole limes cut in half, and you just grind it all together. Put fucking ice on top of it, and then pour cachaça, which is pure sugarcane alcohol. Or if you want to back off, you want to be high class, just put fucking vodka in it and stir it and drink that.
That sounds delicious, actually.
Yeah, but
it will fuck you up.
Fucking loaded.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
And you're in there all night eating. Okay, and it's a party. It's the whole restaurant is a huge fucking party of South Americans, and they can fucking party. Especially this is in the '80s. But my friends that are still there, I grew up with Brazilian guys. I lived there for fucking. My family was there for 7 years. I lived there for fucking 4, I think, if I remember correctly. And my friends that are there now say it's not as fun as it was. It's kind of like Colombia now, real violent. All right, the economy's fucked up. But and the government is fucked up there. But it was always fucked up. Brazil was an anarcho-tyranny. It was a tyranny and an anarchy. The Brazilian military government had just given up their power, and really the only thing that was ever good for Brazil was that military dictatorship, because they actually forced all the elected people to work. You needed the military there to tell mayors and fucking governors to do their jobs. As soon as the military vanished, they immediately just went back to being thieves. They just steal. Nothing worked. If you got in trouble, you thought somebody robbed your house, you called the cops, they'd come and check it out and go, we don't know what to do. 2 days later, you get robbed again because the cops fucking now saw it, and the cops went in there and robbed all your shit. Nothing fucking worked. No, it was just... And that's what happens when you have a fucking country that's just falling apart. Which, it's not that bad here in the United States, but it's going to get that bad in certain areas probably. Where you call the cops and the cops come and rob you. But anyway, Brazilians knew how to fucking party in the 80s. I loved it. And I was a young, good-looking guy from a foreign family that had money. And I thought I was basically living in a Duran Duran video. And fucking, you're old enough to get into clubs at 15, 16. I was at nightclubs.
Yeah, other countries aren't as uptight about the U.S. about letting people in to drink it. I mean, I don't know about nowadays, but they didn't used to be.
So I was good in the American clubs and the goth clubs and shit, but that's not where I got my club skills. I got my club skills in São Paulo, Brazil. Yeah, at like 15.
Because it let you in.
My club game was fucking strong.
Hi, there's a Tom with Simon Le Bon.
Was that? Yeah.
Simon was my favorite.
Yeah.
I know John Taylor was the one that was like most, but I thought Simon was a lot cuter.
Who was that was asking me about the new spear rifle that the Army bought?
I don't know, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Erica says Ohio also has great German restaurants. Schmitz is great, and sometimes you see Arnold. You know what's weird? Downtown Sanford, which is probably about 20 minutes from here, there's a bunch of really good German restaurants down there. Yeah. I can't remember what that one is called, but there's one called Hollerbox, and it's this big, huge restaurant, and then they have like a really good like German deli in the back where you can just get groceries, and then you can also just get like sandwiches and stuff like that, and it's just like really, really good. I don't know why there's a bunch of German restaurants.
Right above Ohio is Michigan, and I lived in Michigan for a few years. That's where I met Gramthars. Me and Gramthars went to school together for a few years. Michigan has some interesting food, ethnic food, because they had fucking Slavic people up there and Scandinavian type people, and they made some cool. That's where I first had paprikash.
God, I love paprikash.
Yeah, and I can make paprikash today. Jen fucking loves it.
Yeah, he made it like he hadn't made it for a long time, and he's like, man, I'm gonna make some. Yeah. And I was like, oh my god, that's one of my favorite things.
It's the Hungarian version of chili.
It's so good.
It's fucking really good, and they had good paprikash in Michigan. Although I was probably eating kind of like retro paprikash from the 80s, because that was like it's probably better today than it ever was.
Because, as much as people have nostalgia for the 70s and 80s, a lot of the food back then really wasn't that good.
No. Another thing I got introduced to in Michigan, the Great Lakes state, was something called pierogies. A bunch of different kinds of pierogies. They made them up there. And I also fucking got an appreciation for fucking Detroit pizza. It's square.
Yeah.
It's like a square pizza made on a fucking square metal pan. And I haven't had it in a long time. But I saw when I was watching programs on pizza, they revisited, talk about what about fucking Detroit pizza, and I saw, oh yeah, I forgot all about that shit, man. You can go down. They have some places in downtown Detroit, or they did, that specialized in that pizza, and it was big square slices, and it kind of had a light, airy dough. It was really good, and a lot of toppings, a lot of cheese. It was just like any other pizza, really, but it was just the shape of it. And the fact that it was cooked in a very thin metal pan that was square. And they cut it square. And it's good. I haven't had it in a long time.
It's funny to me how people will argue about different kinds. Because the United States has at least... How many different varieties of pizza do we have, like, from different
Chicago,
regions?
Deep dish.
Jesus Christ. There's a whole bunch of different kinds.
Yeah.
And so people will kind of complain about, particularly like New York and Chicago. They are the big fighting about the pizza type. But I'm just kind of like, look, all pizza is good. I will not turn down any pizza if you want to give me any. Like, I don't care if it's thin or thick or square or round or whatever. I'll just eat any of it. You know what I mean? Let me see. I wanted to say something else too, but I forgot what it was. When you were talking about, shit, man. You were talking about
Carla says that they have churrasco or churrascaria in Portugal.
In
too.
Portugal, yeah.
So
Well, that makes sense because
I take it she's in Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys know, but like, Tom grew up in Brazil. He went to school in Brazil, so he speaks Portuguese.
Yeah. No Portugal, eles falam com uma batata na boca. Parece, né? I said in Portugal, it sounds like they're talking with a potato in their mouth.
That's not nice, Tom.
The Portuguese accent, kind of a mushy fucking sound to Brazilian.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dialect is paulistano, which is from São Paulo. Okay, and then they have the dialect carioca, and that's from Rio de Janeiro. That's where that's from. And then there's some southern ones and some northern ones. But I'd run into people every now and then that were from Portugal, and they'd be like, wait a minute, hold on. Really? And I'm like, wow, that's a weird accent. It's very different.
But it's mutually understandable, right? Yeah, she says, I'm Portuguese, but I'm actually in the UK.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
Erica says, I saw a lot of German Brazilian folks when I visited Fort Myers, Florida. Yeah. Didn't see much German restaurants, though. Lots of Cuban, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of Cuban restaurants in Florida, especially in the Tampa area, like West Coast. And obviously in South Florida, there's like a huge Cuban influence down there. But, yeah, you want like a good Cuban sandwich.
Yeah, they got good Cuban food here.
They got good Cuban food like around here.
The Cubans are here. They were here before we were here.
Yeah,
basically.
So we're not mad at it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny things because like mainland deep in the middle of American people, they see Latin people and they think that they must have jumped the border to come here. No, the border jumped them.
Pretty much.
In the southern regions, this was part of the Spanish Empire and the French Empire.
So like yeah, we were just already here.
Florida kind of got purchased from the Spanish Empire. And the same people who were in Cuba were all in Florida back in the day on pirate days. It goes back fucking long before the United States. They were always here.
We did a show about Florida pirates, didn't we?
Our fucking Cubans here in Florida, they are the indigenous people. You got to respect them because all these New Yorkers are moving to Miami and forcing them out. They have been there for fucking centuries, all right? That's their land, all right? Don't fuck with them, okay? That's our Cubans. Don't fuck with the Cubans. All right? That's our Cubans, all right?
They might take their sandwiches with them, and we don't want that to happen.
All right. They're more American than you. Away. They were here before you were here, okay? They're more American than you. They're just like everybody else, and fucking they're good people. The Panhandle part of Florida is all kind of like same people as Alabama, Mississippi, central part of fucking Louisiana, Tennessee, Kentucky. It was just kind of a Irish, Scottish, German stock. That was the old. But now, thing is we all had Spanish and French roots also, even during the ancient days. You know, there's French and Spanish names in my family going way back.
Well, and honestly, most of the stuff in Florida is either a Spanish name or a Native American name.
But
Like
there's
most
some
of the
British
cities
stuff here
and shit like
too.
that. Well, yeah,
there's
that too.
British stuff here that's going
That
back
too.
centuries too.
Yeah.
It was just, I wouldn't say it was a melting pot. It was more like a patchwork quilt of a bunch of just different tribal people, including European tribes. They were all just here.
Rusty Nail said episode 308 was the Florida Pirates show, Johnny. Thank you very much. I know, I never remember the numbers. Yeah, I knew we had done one. I was very excited to do that one because, like I said, I love St. Augustine, and they have like pirate museums and stuff like that there. So it's cool to like go and like I said, if you go to Tampa, like the west coast of Florida, they have Gasparilla. Like they have a big, it's like Mardi Gras but pirates, because that was like a huge like pirate port like back in the day. So yeah, super fun. Man, we talked about food for so long, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Brent Air says Sicilian style pizza. That's fucking good too. It's all good, honestly. I can't think of a single kind of pizza that I would not eat happily. You know? Do you want to talk about the purchase that we just made? You wanted to talk about it on the Wednesday night show. Yeah. And
I'm kind of not really in the mood for that. But
really?
Maybe later. What she's talking about is she's talking about our new girlfriend.
We bought a new girlfriend.
All right. Me and Jen haven't made any videos for our other channel in a while. We've already talked about it before, but fucking, you know what I mean? Hiring talent. We have other people in the industry, like ex-girlfriends and shit, that I have, that want her to work with us. There's a lot of money and a lot of complication involved, the legal stuff and paperwork, and
It's kind of a pain.
yeah, and then you have to start sharing money sometimes. Depends on how you're going to do it. It's just too complicated. So what we did is we bought this head. It's a sex doll head.
Yeah.
It was very cute, but it didn't have the body. We were going to complete it later. I want to get the head.
Thank you very much, Titanic. Sent us a very generous super chat.
Oh, really?
Greetings, Jenny and Tom, and everyone. Tom, the street food in Brazil sounds delicious, but is it safe to eat as far as health standards go? Thanks, good night. The street food sounds delicious,
Yeah,
but
it's
is
good.
it safe to eat?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't worry about it.
yeah.
Honestly, I know
I never
that,
got sick.
I know that some people have even gotten food poisoning from hot dog carts in downtown Orlando.
Yeah.
So, you know, you never know.
So we got this.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my wigs, by the way.
Yeah.
It's kind of messy.
All right.
Kind of messy.
And it is pretty good, but they get a lot better than this. So I was going to get a body, but I wasn't really quite sure what kind of body to get, because me and Jen can make interesting videos with this. Anyway.
Well, see, okay, what happened was we had ordered a body
Yeah.
on Amazon,
It didn't come.
and it never showed up.
Yeah.
Like, it said it arrived, but it never arrived. So, I mean, they were nice. We called them. Like, they gave us the money back and everything like that.
Yeah.
But a few days ago, Tom got the idea. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to research this
Yeah, I started researching on seriously.
and see what's
So
going
what
on.
I did was I started looking into the doll fetish scene and came across a guy on Twitter who's in the industry. He's, and he makes videos of him with his girlfriends and these dolls. These dolls look fucking fantastic.
He's
I'll
got
show
a
you
bunch
pictures.
of them.
Yeah, he's got a lot of them. And they're all customized and everything. So I said, look, this is the head I have. I wanted to do kind of similar stuff that you're doing, and fucking, which one of these do you think I could trust off of Amazon? Because don't buy from Amazon. So he started showing me what he owns. He says, you want to get it from these vendors. And he taught me into getting the real deal. Okay.
Which is a lot of money.
Yeah. But the thing is it was only twice of what an Amazon body would have cost.
And you're not entirely sure
And I'm
what
not
you're
too
going
sure
to
what would be
get.
coming.
We are kind of worried about that.
Right. So I went with a company called Piper Doll, and I got the model he recommended, which was an Ariel.
He's got one too.
He's got 2 of those.
He's got 2 of them.
He's got 2 Ariels, and then he has a Jessica Rabbit doll.
That one's cute too.
And then he's got a couple of Bimbo dolls.
That's the brand name.
Yeah, that was the model name.
Oh, okay.
And they're more expensive. They come with a head and everything, so we're not going to be using that head.
I mean, we'll get a body for that head, like, eventually.
Baby.
But the one that we bought already has a head on it.
Yeah. She's a little under 5 feet tall. And she's made by a Japanese designer who does anime stuff and cartoon stuff. And she's basically a cartoon girl. All right. I'll show you what she looks like.
Yeah, because we wanted one.
You didn't want anything to look realistic.
We didn't want one that looked. We wanted one that looked kind of real, but not like a real person, because that's kind of creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had kind of a thing where it's like, I don't want it to look too real, because that's kind of uncanny valley.
Yeah. I had a long talk with a guy. He says this. He kind of agreed with what we thought. They look too real. They look a little bit like a corpse.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And he says these sculpts are very artistic sculpts. If you actually do the measurements, they're way outside human proportions.
Yeah. You want some a little bit fantasy looking.
Because it looks more like a living creature and like there's motion and gestalt to it. All right? Yeah. Like a drawing. If it looks too realistic, it looks lifeless. Like
it looks like you're hauling a body around, which is a little disturbing.
Okay.
So yeah, we had like a big long discussion about that.
So I became an expert in this guy, and this guy's modifying him. He's doing all kinds of. It's a weird thing, man. He's a hot rod guy. He's a porn guy.
He's French.
His
girlfriend is Thai.
Yeah, he spends about half of his time in Thailand.
In Thailand, yeah. He lives half time in France and half time in Thailand.
And he's real. We're like a lot alike. All right, he's 45. He's kind of a tough guy, tough-minded. And when you look at his house, some of the pictures of his dolls in his house, a lot of it's like pink and black, and it looks like a fucking inside of a Barbie doll house.
Kinda.
And I was like,
it's cool though. I like it.
This is like how your girlfriend decorated the place. He goes, no, she doesn't live here. He says, I did all that. It says, really? And he goes, yeah, well, I live with all these women.
All the dolls, yeah.
And he's talking about the dolls. And the whole place is filled with like makeup and fake eyes, and because he changes them up.
Yeah, he's like it's cool. He's like super artistic about it.
Yeah, he does all the makeup. He's a makeup artist. He makes a lot of their clothes. He says because you can buy clothes that they're a little bit off, so you have to do. And this is,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a weird mixture. So I started kind of like feeling out what kind of made this dude tick. So it's all started to kind of make sense. Doll fetish is kind of adjacent to cross-dressing. A lot of people are like, well, wait a minute, hold on. What are we talking about here? If you look at not transsexualism or transvestitism, well, I guess you say it's transvestitism.
Sort of, yeah. Sort of. Because those are two completely different things.
A good example is Ed Wood. Ed Wood was a movie director here in the United States. He was all man, he liked women, he was married.
Yeah,
whenever he was under stress, he'd put on women's clothes.
Yeah.
That started in World War II when he was a Marine. He did the Peleliu invasion. Underneath his fucking combat gear, women's underwear. Because it kept him calm.
Yeah.
Whenever he got under a lot of pressure, he'd have this compulsion to put on women's clothing. And what it is it's a man who's under a lot of stress and for some reason wants to run from manly responsibilities to the safety of being just a pretty girl who doesn't have to do anything. Because that's his fantasy.
Right.
So they're internalizing it. They want to be inside a woman's position where they can just be pretty.
Yeah.
To escape from pressure of hardship. All right. And that was how his mental escape.
Sure.
So
I get it.
They're internalizing it. All right. Looks like doll fetishes, they're externalizing it. Yeah. They want the safety of feminine qualities, but not in them, outside of them.
Yeah.
So they want to be in an environment where there's hyper feminine women all around them and like makeup and things that are like associated with women, so they don't have to live in a dangerous male world. It's like an escape.
And he did say, yeah, and
Basically,
like you said, the
that.
dude was like super masculine and everything that, but he really liked
that he's in a
that he liked having these dolls around, and he liked making clothes for them and putting makeup, and he's a really good makeup artist. Like, well, like looking at his videos, because he's on this thing, it's not Twitter, I can't remember what the name of the social media site is, but it's this whole thing for people that have doll fetishes that are, this is such a cool idea, I didn't even think of this, but people put up videos as if the dolls are people, you know what I mean? So it's just like TikTok or Instagram or something like that.
His dolls are posted.
Like his dolls are posting.
Doing,
like they have their own personality and they have different outfits and wigs and stuff like that.
They're making selfies.
Right. And it's just like, and it's super cool. And I'm like looking at this and I'm like, man, what a good idea. And he just like goes into, he makes their clothes and he does like different makeup. Like he did like this really cool like killer clown thing for Halloween. And it's just, I'm like, man, that's like so fucking creative. And it gives me like all these ideas for like shit we could do. He's like, he puts fake tattoos on them. He just puts all this to give them different looks. Changes their eye colors out because you can pop the eyes out and put different ones in. And I was just like, holy crap! Like, there's all kind of like cool shit we could do with this. So it's like, even though the doll that we got is very expensive. Yeah. But that was the one that he recommended. It wasn't the most expensive one. They have some that are like $3-4 grand.
Yeah, he said those actually.
But he said don't get those because it's like you can't actually use them.
You can't have sex with them. He said
because they'll like fall apart. So it's like get one that's like mid range. Yeah. Like don't get one that's too cheap because it's not gonna look good on camera.
Right.
But the ones he has, like we got one of the ones that he had because that was the one that he recommended, and he gave us all kind of ideas of like shit that I didn't even like think of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. But that's a very basic. I'll show you his.
Ones that I can, because some of his are basically X-rated.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is that Oracle said, anyone else ever seen Lars and the Real Doll? I've seen it, yes. It's a great fucking movie. It's so good. I saw it a long time ago, but yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably will name her. We might do like if we get her and if we have time.
Yeah.
It's like we could have like a channel on that service that like that streaming service that he's on, or not streaming service, but social media thing that he's on, and it's just kind of like because they just post photos and little videos and shit like that, just like it was a real person, but it's not. But she has like different outfits on and different, and I was like, that's so cool because there's like a whole fetish for that.
Yeah. We're going to go to his dolls.
And we're going to, like, have videos with us in them, too, obviously, like, with it. But I was like, if I don't feel like doing some shit one day, like, we could just put one of her up.
So there's kind of a doll fetish angle. Okay.
This is his customized version of that same doll.
I can't see it. Okay, that's right. I saw that picture. Yeah, and he has all different wigs and different. He puts eyelashes on her. He puts different. He has a whole bunch of different eyes.
Yeah, he does all that makeup. And
he makes clothes. He does the makeup. He does all that, and I was like, "That's pretty awesome." Like he's real into it, and he has a bunch of dolls. I think he has like how many does he have?
4 or 5 of them.
He has like 5 of them.
Yeah, and he does photo shoots of all the dolls having sex with each other. Just all kinds of weird.
Yeah. Some of these I can't show.
Jeffy Art, thank you very much for the super chat. Said a friend of mine will take dollar store Barbie dolls and turn them into drag queens and starlets. Makeup, hair, clothing, the whole gamut. So cool. Yeah, I love that kind of shit. Any kind of like creative stuff like that. So I was like really impressed like when he showed me like the whole channel and stuff, and I was like, man, I didn't even think of all the shit you can do. And he's even telling us stuff like, well, you don't want to put like, you know, dark, like bright colored clothing like red or anything like on them because the dye might like bleed into the skin and it's like hard to get off and all this other kind of stuff. And so he was telling me stuff that like telling Tom stuff that like we never would have even thought of.
He makes videos and stuff like that with them, like the girls posting. Yeah, that's the same doll we have coming. He's just tricked it up a different way.
Right. But you can do all kind of different stuff with it. The only thing we were worried about, because I kind of feel like most of the clothes that I have will probably fit her. I mean, maybe.
So the real stretchy stuff probably would.
The stretchy stuff, yeah.
She's about 4'8".
Well, that's only like 5 inches shorter than I am.
Yeah.
And like I said, if we have to like, I don't know, pin it or something like that. The only thing I'm worried about is the shoes because she has like tiny ass feet. And my feet are small, but not that small. So.
He's got some fucking badass pictures of him, but I can't show him because this one probably won't get flagged. This is one of his bimbo dolls. Well, she's not nude.
Oh, okay.
It's one of his bimbo dolls. All right, that's about a $2,000 doll.
And didn't he make those shoes?
He made some of those shoes, yeah. The thing is, though, is he said he likes how it looks, but he just uses it with photo shoots. He doesn't do scenes with it because it says it wants to rip. the skin's too it's not made out of a strong material, so it's mostly just good for like doing photos with. This is the same doll. I don't. Yeah,
because we wanted something that would look good on camera, and that's something we could make a lot of different kind of videos with. That was going to be usable.
Yeah.
You know.
Now he makes mouths and tongues.
That too.
Yeah.
Like so. Yeah. Like I said, he's really into this stuff. So he makes like custom, different like little teeth and tongues and stuff like that. Like which is crazy. I can show that. That's the same one we got coming. And you change the hair color. There's all kinds of stuff. You can put wigs on it.
He's got piercings and tattoos that he changes up. And he makes... Okay, this is a mouth he made for it to make it smile. Let me get this shit going. He made that mouth, the teeth and everything. It looks like a real person, basically. Until you look at it from the side, its facial proportions are based upon Disney cartoons.
But yeah, anybody that's like that into some stuff and like makes all that stuff, like that's...
Yeah, here's another one.
I love it.
He did.
Yeah, so we might kind of go down this route because...
There may be some... We'll see how it works.
We'll see how it works. I mean, Lord knows we're going to have to make some videos with that because like that costs a lot of money.
There's a certain kind of customer that wants to see a woman with a doll.
But we thought to ourselves, here's the thing. We had the head already, and we were going to get a body. We were looking at spending $700 on a body anyway. And so when the guy was saying, well, don't get anything off Amazon because you're not entirely sure, like, if you're going to get it. And like I said, we got burned like that before, like, you know, getting the body the first time, like, that never showed up. So he's like, well, you never know entirely what you're going to get because those are like third-party sellers, and a lot of them are like stealing pictures from other sites, and it's like, so you might get something good and you might not, like, you don't really know, and you can't return them, obviously.
So you're stuck.
So it's like you pay $700, something shows up that wasn't what you thought it was going to be, you can't send it back.
One dude in that conversation that I was reading says, this is my first purchase. It was $275. They showed me a picture, and he gave me the brand. It was a WM doll, which is a brand name doll. That's what they had. But when it showed up, it was a blow-up doll.
Right.
All right.
You gotta watch.
This is at the foot of his bed. These dolls had to be kind of hanging from a hook. They got a hole in their head. It's to relax their skeletons at the joints, so the material that they're made out of doesn't develop rips in it.
Right.
Okay. But at the foot of his bed, this is how this guy wakes up every morning. All right. That's at the foot of his bed.
Yeah, he's got him like hanging there.
The little short one is the aerial that
we're not going to go that far, but
no. But look at that background. That's his room.
That's what color the kitchen in my old house used to be.
A lot of the walls are pink.
That hot pink like that.
The one on the right is a Jessica Rabbit.
It was hot pink with black cabinets in the old kitchen.
The one on the right is a modified Jessica Rabbit doll. And they look great. It's not really coming through the cameras, but they look like real people kind of standing there. They look like people in some kind of weird costume or something.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, but you know, we'll see.
Here's the Jessica Rabbit up close.
I don't know. I can't see.
I'll show it to you. Trying to get it so they can see it. I think she's on roller skates, actually.
Like Roller Girl from Boogie
Yeah,
Nights.
and she's got tattoos.
Yeah, so we're...
No, she's not on roller skates. She's just got
it's just high
stripper heels.
Just got stripper shoes on.
Yeah. He had another one that was on roller skates.
But yeah, I'm just so I think that like this is like opening up a whole like realm of possibilities. Like when he was showing me all the stuff from that dude's channel, I was like, oh man, I have like so many ideas now for like videos we can do, and I think it'll be super fun.
Girls or dudes, within a decade or so, these things are going to be walking around.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah.
We've had whole discussions about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, Tom is just kind of like, when he sees the sex dolls that look like real people, he's like, that's fucking.
He's like, yeah, I don't want that.
He's like, that's creepy. I don't like that. It's like the sex dolls he tends to like are ones that look like not human.
Yeah.
They look like elves or some shit like that.
What the doll fetish guys are looking for is that. And that's a cartoon. And if you were to actually take measurements of that, if that was a 3D rendering, it would be far outside human norms.
Yeah.
And
I kind of feel like that's
it
kind of
looks
like
better.
Like it's a living thing.
The whole point of having a doll is having something that you couldn't get in a real person.
It's not. Yeah, it doesn't happen in the real world, right?
You know, that's kind of what I kind of got into recently with all the weird like animated furry porn and all that. It's not furry, but like the fantasy porn that's like animated. Yeah. And it's just like I kind of like that better because
it can't happen in real life.
It can't happen in real life.
Right.
You know, it's nobody's getting, you know. You don't have to worry about anyone getting hurt or exploited or didn't want to be there or anything like that because they're not real people. They're just animated.
Look, see, it's on roller skates.
Yeah, okay, that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, well, what he said that in the place of France he's in, he's in Paris. He said the women there are very conservative because they don't want to get harassed on the streets. All right. So he says they dress down a lot. They're not very sexy looking. It's just everything's about business and going to work. He says there's no fun really in where he's at now.
I would just walking around in the daytime. You don't want to dress like that either because you'll get even around here. You'll get fucking harassed.
He said he really likes Thailand. He likes the United States. He says the United States, the people are a lot more fun because they're not under, you know what I mean, as many restrictions socially. I guess is what he said. All right, let me see. I think I can parse it.
That is one of those dolls dressed up as a clown.
Yeah, and he did all the makeup.
He did the makeup and everything as an evil clown.
Yeah.
So he does different like holiday stuff. Like, okay, Halloween we're gonna go with a scary theme.
I mean, obviously that will be my favorite.
Right.
Because I can put all kind of crazy makeup on her and stuff like that. That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Put like I can make her a costume and see what it looks like.
This is one of his lower end dolls that
It's just like far outside human norms. There's another one of like his bimbo type dolls with the huge boobs and super long skinny legs. And I don't think she's very tall either.
I think she said she was about 5'1". But you know what I mean? How do you get the proportions like that out of a 5'1" person? It doesn't happen.
I mean, I'm only 5'2", and it's I've never seen a 5'2" person.
No, that would be
looked like that.
Anorexic with huge booty implants and huge boob implants.
Yeah, you can't get that naturally.
No, it wouldn't happen normally.
13KM Superfan is here and is very excited about this new direction.
Yeah.
Although they said nobody sucks a monster dildo better than Jenny.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It is true.
It is true.
It is true. I know. I do have those monster dildos, don't I? The monster. I don't even know what that one is.
That was when he was announcing he got his bimbo doll. New. It's a YM number 20.
And it's bimbo and it's the same font as Barbie.
Yeah.
I see that. I don't know. I think it'll be fun. I think we can have all kind of fun with that.
We'll put her back here.
Make all kind of we can sit her in the background of the show.
Right
Put Spock there next to her.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how the whole thing goes. I might need another drink.
Okay, here.
I mean, that was only my first one, so don't get too.
Ours she'll probably be goth.
Well, yeah,
She'll
obviously.
basically be Kaylee.
Because she's gonna. Oh man.
Yeah, I know.
Don't bring the whole night down, man. But yeah. Well, I mean, she'll probably be wearing my clothing, and most of my clothing is gothy looking. She might wear some stuff that I have that I don't wear all that much, but we'll see. Stuff that might look better on her than me. Who knows? Because I have like fucking racks and racks of clothing in there that Tom got me on Shein. He just bought me a bunch of pants the other day because he loves, for some reason, well, I don't know. I know what the reason is, but he loves the bell-bottom pants, like the tight bell-bottom pants that come out at the bottom. He's like, man, those are really flattering on you. So he came in the other day. He's like, I bought you a bunch of bell-bottoms. like on Shein or whatever. And he's showing them to me. So some of them are like colors, which I'm kind of like, okay. I don't usually wear a lot of colors, but okay. He got me some that were like purple, but they had like skulls on them. But then he got some black ones too. But then he got some that were like pale pink. And I'm just like, we'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure how that's gonna look.
But I'll pass on
we'll see how that looks.
Pass on what I've learned to you guys if you're looking to buy anything like that as a sex toy. He had a lot of experience. He bought a bunch of them. There's like first 3 or 4, they fucking suck. They're gone. They're thrown away. You're going to be looking to spend about $1,500. $1,300 to $1,500 around there. He recommended if you're going to photograph it, it'd be a Piper doll.
That's what we got.
Yeah, because Piper dolls, the head is connected to the neck, so there's no seam here, which means that you can shoot it in an upshot if you're going to use it in porn. That way you don't see that damn seam across the neck.
Like I said.
If it has a seam, it limits what you can do in terms of...
Although I feel like if we had to get one with a seam, I would just like go all in and do like a Bride of Frankenstein cosplay on it.
Well, those bimbos has a seam. You just have to shoot it in only certain...
Yeah, you can't just shoot it from underneath.
Angles, right. It limits to what angle you can shoot it in. He said, don't get anything close to 100 pounds. He says you want something that's more like between 60 and 70 pounds. Because you don't realize that moving that thing around the house and fucking setting it up for shots and it'll wear you out.
Yeah.
And
it's like dragging a corpse around.
Yeah.
If it's heavy.
There's a big argument of whether or not you should have joints that are hard or soft, because some guys like it where they're a little more limp, but they can't hold a pose. So if you want photography, you want hard joints that can hold a pose. Some guys, they say, that have sex with them want them to be a little more looser than that, because when it's all holding a position, you roll it over, it looks like somebody who's been frozen.
Right.
Like just a frozen corpse.
Like rigor mortis.
Like rigor mortis. It's creepy. You know what I mean?
You're just like, oh.
Yeah. So
I'm suddenly not in the mood anymore.
You gotta listen to these dudes that actually fuck these things. Those are the ones that fucking you want to listen.
Well,
to.
that's
and
why I
worked with them.
That's why
I went for the guys that do porn with them.
I'm glad that you found that dude.
Yeah.
And he was like very.
Yeah, he was immediately. Oh, you guys are fucking. You guys.
Yeah,
because
he's like, hey, we're
so
like, we have a mini vids and we're thinking
yeah.
about getting into this,
Right,
and we've
yeah.
been like, what do you recommend?
He
and
says, I can't wait to see your aerial, man. It's gonna be goth. It's gonna be hot, man. Take a
Yeah.
good photo. Because these
and
dudes
he
fucking,
does it. He takes pictures
Yeah.
of it. He takes videos. There's videos of him having sex with it. There's videos of him and his girlfriend.
having
There's
sex with it.
right.
His Thai girlfriend is about the same size as that Ariel, and she's dressed up as a doll.
right.
in the
So
video.
they do like a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. So the idea is just hyper femininity in the thing. It's unrealistic. It's almost like a Disney character. And these guys are kind of like old school pornographers, where they would hire Betty Page or something, take pictures of her. You couldn't sell it, so they just traded the photos. These dudes are taking pictures of these things and trading photographs of their dolls, like trading cards. That's just part of the fetish.
Which,
Yeah.
like I said, they're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, they're not hurting, but it's just weird, though. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, I guess they would do that. They like these dolls, so they're like, how does yours look?
Right.
That kind of shit. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's just.
It's like, dude, and this dude's into hot rods. He builds his own hot rods.
It's the same as like trading
yeah.
pictures of like
yeah.
your car or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, it's. I don't really see it as any different than that.
Right. He likes tattoos and piercings and shit. So I got to find out if those piercings are real. Did he really pierce?
I
through
imagine they're probably fake because,
Yeah.
I know for sure because there were a couple of pictures on the stream that had pierced nipples, and I was like, I know you can get fake because I've seen
nipples that are already pierced, right?
Yeah, like fake nipples that you can put over your real nipple in case you want to ever look like you have real pierced nipples and like you don't want to actually do it. Which, like I said, I don't blame you because if you're new here, I actually do have pierced nipples and it hurts like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I did it.
And Tom did it.
Yeah.
So
I
I
nearly
can
passed out doing it. Watching her fucking nearly passed out. I was like,
look. I have a high pain tolerance, and that was I almost blacked out from that.
pushing the.
I almost.
They
blacked
came
out
out real
from that.
good.
They did come out nice, but
But it was like fucking piercing.
that's not the
through
worst
bone.
pain.
It's like
It's not
popping and shit.
It's not the worst pain I've ever experienced, but top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Top 5 for sure. Real painful. I mean, you really have to want that done bad. So I can understand, like, if you just want that look and you don't want to go through the pain and heartache as I did. So they do sell realistic looking fake nipples that have like a piercing through them. And I imagine that's, but he also had a couple shots of her with the piercings, the cheek piercings. And those looked really good because they were kind of like depressed and stuff. And I was just kind of like, well, I don't know. Maybe he just kind of puts it in there with a pin, or I'm not really sure. But it looks good though. You just don't want to put holes in the doll though, because I mean, like I said, that's an expensive.
Yeah.
And I have to look too. It's just because I was kind of asking him. It's like, well, what about certain kind of lipsticks or certain kind of like, is it gonna fuck up the material? And you have to know all of this stuff, like to put makeup on her, and like if I'm gonna have makeup on and you're gonna be making a video with the doll, you don't want to get makeup all over them.
Yeah,
and
hey,
you
what
can't
doing?
get it
Look at
off.
her. She's tearing it up.
Pookie, stop! Oh my god, she's such a brat. Such a brat. CB says the fetish bar I go to charges like £100, so the guys that are into it, and the one rule is the doll not to look like a kid, and the guys are vetted before they get in the bar. Yeah, that's the thing. You kind of gotta, that kind of thing. You kind of gotta like curate who's gonna show up, because you never know if like some weirdos are gonna show up. Like I said, most people that are into fetishy stuff are really nice people, but there's always going to be some weirdo that's going to take advantage. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. That's kind of why, remember that place it's in? I'm not going to say what the name of it is, but there's a place in Orlando that's like, it's is it a swingers resort?
Hold on 1 second. I'm answering something. I'm going to tell him I'm online. Huh?
It's like a swingers resort. It's basically like a resort, like a hotel and a pool and all that kind of stuff. But they basically have a nightclub in there, and there's parties and you basically can swap, or you don't have to. They have like a dungeon and stuff, and you can just do whatever. So it's that. But they are real, at least from what I've heard. We have friends that go there. I've never been there.
You're talking about that fucking...
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But the
our boy isn't allowed there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what
You
happened.
got involved in some kind of
I don't know what happened.
conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm not gonna speculate. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, yeah. So they're pretty careful about not. Well, one, if you're a single dude, you're kind of not allowed. I mean, it has to be a couple or a group. You can't go there as a single dude because, you're going to get, like, weirdos, like, wandering in there and looking at people's windows and shit like that. Also, there's, like, a membership fee. Like, you have to pay... I think what they do, at least from what I could determine, is that you either pay, like, a bit... And it's kind of expensive, but you just pay for, like, a weekend if you just want to go to one of their parties or whatever. Or you can pay like a monthly membership and you can kind of go whenever you want. But like I said, it's kind of expensive because they're trying to keep riffraff out. I don't know if they're entirely successful.
They're trying to keep single dudes out too.
Yeah, well, like I said, they said, at least from, because I was writing a short story that was based around a place like that, so I kind of like did a lot of research into that place. I was like, what are the rules of this? I'm not really sure, because I'd heard our friends like talk about it. I'd never been there, and it's in Orlando. But yeah, they were like, yeah, we're pretty strict about like not letting single guys wander around the place.
There's a caveat to that though.
Yeah.
And if they're guys that are well known, all right, and who can be kind of like trusted in that environment. So in other words, they're like prior customers that had a couple, that maybe there was a couple that broke up and now he's single.
Right.
He can get back in. If you're known in the porn scene as a male porn performer, you can get in.
Right.
You won't have any problem.
Because they know that
They trust you.
Right.
And there'll be people there that will invite that dude.
Right.
Like, come on, let's go. Fuck my wife.
Yeah, if you have an invite, then
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a different
Right.
matter. But you can't just show up
Right.
as a single dude and be like some rando.
Yeah. They got
like
dudes
nobody be
that,
like, no.
They got dudes with, tear up my wife fetish. They got that.
Yeah.
That's common.
It is very common.
It's real common.
It is very common. Like I said, I'm not.
Yeah, they're getting off on the.
I'm not into it.
Losing control. You know what I mean? Oh shit, that bad girl. Look, oh man, I got. What are you? Oh my god. That's hot though. That's hot. That's hot. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
I feel like you're kind of into it in theory, but probably not in practice.
Who?
You.
Yeah, just ideas of it.
He likes the idea of
idea,
it.
yeah.
But I don't think that you would like.
No,
the
I mean
actual...
actually doing it. No.
No.
But the thing is,
I don't like the idea of actually doing it either.
I got no problem knocking down a girlfriend or you or something. Say in a car, with your friends in the car. I got no problem with that. You know, especially if it's another couple.
Yeah, I don't have
a problem having sex in front of other couples.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
No.
We've done it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that either.
You're right.
I don't have a problem with that either.
You know, you're fucking high-fiving your boy, you know, fucking the girls fucking passing cigarettes and talking to each other. Just shit like that, you know.
Right.
Fucking,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
right.
I don't...
Nobody's really imposing on anybody.
Right. Yeah, I don't love the idea of, like, watching...
Mm-hmm.
I get how some people like the idea of their partner fucking somebody else. I don't really love that idea. But I get why people like that, though.
It's like the taboo type of forbidden type shit.
Right. Yeah. Like, I think it's one of those things that's, like, cooler to, like, think about.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hot to kind of think about.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you wanted to actually do it, you'd be like, nah, it probably wouldn't be as fun if you were actually doing it. I don't know.
Well, we messed around with girls.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, dudes. That's a different kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, we've never really done that. Like I said,
a woman's experience of having sex with a dude is not the same as a dude having sex with a woman. So
no, it's absolutely not.
She
the same.
feels, you know, she's being penetrated, you know, by somebody. And she's
Yeah,
never
that's
really
a
into
whole
that dude.
different.
She's never really into that dude. You know,
that's a whole different thing.
So she's, you know,
like I said,
it's not the same experience for them.
We have had sex in the same room as another couple.
Well, don't tell everybody else.
We have had. Well, no, I mean
Okay.
we have had a thing with another girl.
Yeah.
But it was mostly me.
Pretty much all my exes want to have sex with her.
I know.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, you know what I mean. So it hasn't. But you know what I mean.
One of my exes wants to have sex with her on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Thing is her husband.
That's what I mean. I'm not averse, but
yeah. Her husband fucking will try to weasel in there somehow.
That's the only thing, and I'm not. It's not a package deal, is what I'm saying. It's like I'm not.
Like, so man, let's trade him out. You know, he'd be like that.
That's because you know that would happen.
That's what would happen.
And then I'd be like, let's.
They're like, nah.
No.
Oh, so you know.
No.
He's a friend of mine, but I know he's like.
Well, see, he's gonna pull out the card. Well, you've had sex with
her
her
before,
because before I met
haven't
you.
Had sex with her. You
And
know,
I haven't, yeah.
What are we worried
and
about?
I'd be like, well,
Yeah.
hey, is
What are you
anybody
worried
asking
about?
me how I feel
yeah.
about this? Because I'm not really like into
Dudes
that.
are gonna think it's like, you know, hey man, you drove my car, let me drive your car. That's like that,
It's gonna
you know?
be like that. That's what I mean.
That's, you know.
Which see,
They got
that's,
some dudes out there, dude. I got a badass car, man. Take it
that's
for a ride.
well, see, that's
Take
why
it for a ride. You're gonna love it.
Women
got
are
guys
kind of
like that.
disturbed
Yeah.
by dudes because it's like the way they talk about women like objects like that.
Yeah.
That's like very disturbing to me.
Well, it's not the woman; it's the experience that they're talking about. I've known dudes that do this.
Yes, I get that.
Take her for a spin.
I get that.
I'm gonna be right over here. Fucking, this is good. That's, you know, and then all of a sudden his head is huge.
Right.
Like, you know, all the dudes love my wife. Yeah, they got guys like that. That's what that scene's like.
Well,
Fucking, and that's really, you know, that's actually the real basic shit. Some of that shit gets kind of dark. Her and I have nothing to do with this shit.
no.
But a friend of ours worked at some of these events. Well, I can say because he didn't do anything with his wife. You know, the DJs. Let's just say some of the DJs that we know have DJ'd at private fetish parties here in Florida, in mansions with rich people in them, like very rich. And shit goes down in there, man, that would fucking blow your mind. You know how all this fucking Epstein bullshit, you know what I mean, with little kids and these sex islands and shit like that? It's not that bad. But that shit is like, well, of course that exists, because a couple notches below that I know exists. Know people that fucking been to shit like that. In other words, real rich dudes hanging out at this fetish party. Couples from the fetish scene go to it. They just do fetish shit there. Sometimes fucking group sex there. Some of those couples have like a prostitution fetish where the dude is pimping the wife out to these rich dudes.
And like I said, that's
The husband is pimping
fairly
the wife out.
common.
Yeah, and that's...
I feel like that's pretty common.
Yeah, and it's kind of like he's got like this power thing, like he's the pimp now, and the fucking woman is all getting into this fucking, she's a high value item, and she's submitting to all this, and and she's getting off on the submission, and she's pretending like she doesn't want it, but she does. They're gonna get the money. You know what I mean? It's just weird fetish fantasies that they're doing. Me and Jen have done live shit on camera for money and this and that.
But that's different. They're not here. They're not in the room.
Not actually here. Only one time, me and Jen we said on the show one time. This is true. Said if one of these damn sultans comes out that goes and it says, Jen, come to the place for fucking $500,000 for the fucking a week. Come party at my fucking yacht. I would say $500,000 for a fucking week. He said, Jen, let me go pack your bags.
Okay, I will admit, I would do it for $500,000 just for a week.
Right.
I wouldn't enjoy it. It wouldn't be fun. It would be work.
You'd have to put on a big show. You have to go out with the mindset of an entertainer.
Yeah, I would have to go to a different place because that's not my thing.
Right.
But honestly, for a week of bullshit, of doing shit I really don't want to do, for $500,000, which I could probably live on for several years, I'd probably suck it up and do it. Like I said, I wouldn't be happy about it.
Fucking problems.
I wouldn't be happy about it, but I would do it.
Here's the thing, that exists. All right, fucking. I've seen interviews with fucking people in the fucking high end escort, fucking guys down in Dubai and UAE and shit that do that. And what's funny is that it tends to be a younger guy from an oil family or maybe like a royal type family or lower royal type family. He's in his 30s. It's his birthday, and he's got fucking 6 or 7 of these girls for a whole week on his yacht.
Which that would be better because then it would be like...
one.
Diffuse, like, so you might only have to be with him for like an hour or two.
Yeah, it's 6 or 7 of them.
You could suck it up for that long.
And it's like a party, and the staff is there.
And you could maybe get super drunk and not really know what was going on.
And here's the thing, the dude's married.
Which is what I would do.
And evidently the major rule is that you can't post. You can't take any pictures of anything, and you can't post.
Which, bro, I wouldn't do that.
Because that dude's married.
Right.
You know.
Here's the thing, though. If you said to me... Like, if somebody came to me, like, no one's ever going to, obviously, but if somebody ever did come to me and said, hey, I'll give you $1 million, like, Erica said that, like, that movie, Indecent Proposal was the name of that movie. If somebody offered me $1 million, it's like, yeah, I would probably, but if you said, I would really rather you didn't do that, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't really rather that to happen. But
$1 million is a lot of money.
I had to put the test back on myself. What if that same motherfucker says, no, I don't want you, I want him for $500,000 a week?
You better do it too.
Do I have to go like, well, shit, that's a lot
You better
of money.
do it too. Because if I got to do it, then hypothetically, if the same dude came to you and offered you $500,000,
I would like to think that I could fucking man up and go into a James Bond mode. Where I'm
then
like,
you better do it too. Because if you're gonna make me do it, then you also better.
I'm just gonna go into this fucking.
If you're gonna say no, I don't want to do that.
I'm gonna go into this fucking mind.
Then I'm not gonna
go into this mind space where I'm not me. I'm a character, and it's just gonna all be.
That's what I would also be doing.
And I'd be saying I'm
dissociating.
I'm gonna flip it around and make him the bitch. I'm gonna fucking.
I would also be.
I'd be trying to all kinds of games. But the thing is, though, man, I'm not sure I could hold it together.
Yeah, but do you think I could? I probably couldn't either.
You're a woman, no.
Right.
He's not really asking you to do anything that women don't do anyway.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know what he's gonna ask me to do.
Yeah, that's true too. I've heard they do some fucking weird shit.
That's what I mean. It's like I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of stuff in there that I would really rather not do.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like. So I would be mad.
If it was vanilla, it'd be a lot. But you don't know if that's.
Yeah, if it was just that kind of bullshit,
right.
Okay, I could just lay there and take it. And especially if there was like a bunch of other women there that were going to take some of the load off, like that would be different. But I would also be mad if the same proposition was extended to you and you wouldn't do it, but you made me do it. I would be very
Erica
mad.
says, was that a movie where a dude had to sleep?
Yeah,
with
I said Indecent Proposal.
No, where a dude had to sleep with a dude. Oh no, we're okay.
Yeah, it was Indecent Proposal.
Yeah, it was a girl sleeping with a dude.
It was Woody Harrelson,
Woody Harrelson
and Demi Moore.
Yeah.
And I think Robert Redford was the offerer. He offered Woody Harrelson $1 million to sleep, and that was just for one night. $1 million. And I'm just kind of like, well, yeah, I would probably do that, but I mean, one night for $1 million, okay. But the thing about it is that I would also feel really anxious because I'm like, man, that's a lot of pressure. Now I feel like I have to be $1 million worth of. Jesus Christ.
$1 million worth of sucking.
God. What am I gonna do? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna feel like, cause like I have all kind of problems with like insecurity and stuff. So it's just kind of like I would have the whole night. I'd be like, am I doing this right? I'm just like, you know what I mean? But
CB saying you got to be very careful with fetish before you can get sick and not even. Well, I can't read it.
Not even did anything with your dick.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can't read it with my glasses.
Yeah, you need some.
I need my glasses. I don't have them. Everything's kind of like fucking blurry and.
Well, why don't you get glasses?
They're not here. I got glasses. They're in the other room.
I gotta wear glasses on the show.
No, I'm okay until I start.
Because I can't see shit.
I'm okay until I'm kind of fucked up. Then my vision is actually even worse. I'm gonna get another drink.
Okay. Yeah, CB said swingers are a pain in the ass because the wife gets fucked by a bodybuilder and the husband gets pissed because he made the earth move for her. Yeah, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like I said, we know a lot of people that are poly, and we know a lot of people that are in, thruples, if you want to. I hate that word, but you know what I mean. That are in that kind of stuff. And to me, whatever people want to do, as long as everyone's consenting, hey, you do you. I don't really care. But the thing about it is that a lot of that kind of stuff just seems like too much work to me. It's just too much work, Too much work. Keeping track of too many people. Keeping track of one person. Keeping track of Tom is a full-time job. Keeping up with Tom is a full-time job. I don't need... That's why I told him before. I was like, this is why... Well, one of the many reasons. One of the reasons is because I'm a good person. But it's just like, this is why I would never cheat on you, because it's like, it's enough work just keeping up with Tom. I don't need to add another person to the mix. It just sounds exhausting. It sounds exhausting. I'm too late. I don't know if lazy is the word, but it's just kind of like dealing with people just wears me out. You know what I mean?
What's that?
I said dealing with people wears me out. And I said, I told you that's one of the many reasons that I would never cheat on you, because it's just kind of like dealing with one person. Dealing with you is enough. Dealing with another person and dealing with the deception on top of that, it just sounds exhausting. I would never.
Yeah, it's like a lot of those.
It's so exhausting. It's just like, why? Because you'd have to maintain this all. Because I'm not a good liar. I'm not good at I'm just not good at that. It just sounds like too much work. It's
some of the interviews I've
work.
seen with some of the higher ed escorts, they said that's the hardest part. You're in your fucking 20s or 30s and you're working on a yacht. A fucking super fucking billionaire dude on his yacht, and that bitch is in his 60s. You got nothing in common with him, and yeah, the dude's married, of course, but he's in bed by fucking 9 o'clock. You're
just up for like 3-4 more hours watching
60s
Netflix.
and 70s, and then you're watching Netflix all fucking night. And you're gonna be and you have to pretend like that you have a lot in common with this dude.
See, I can't do that. I just have a hard time.
And they have
it
nothing
just wears
in common.
me out.
They have nothing in common with that dude. And from what those women said, they said that those guys are okay, but they're like generations older than them, and they're just like...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There's nothing really about them that is interesting.
And honestly...
Those girls were saying that those dudes have all that money, and they have all those fucking boats and shit, but as men, they're not very interesting.
Yeah, I buy that. Well, the thing about it is that, and like I said, look, I'm kind of an introverted person. It's just kind of like, I don't, like, being around a lot of people is exhausting to me. And if I have to pretend to be something I'm not, that's like another layer of exhaustion. It just like wears me out. It's just mentally taxing. So it's just kind of like the whole having to maintain a facade of like liking somebody you don't really like and stuff like that. It just sounds exhausting.
Yeah, well, that's what that girl was saying.
Exhausting.
That's what that girl was saying. That really, that's what the fee is all about.
Yeah.
High-end escorting.
And even then, like, even if they were paying me a lot of money, I'd still be like, God.
Yeah, is that you have to pretend
It's like
like
a
you're
fucking chore.
You have to kind of pretend that you're interested.
I would have a
and
hard
that,
time.
And that you have a lot in common with this guy.
I'd have a hard time.
And you have to do this in front of his friends because a lot of times he's taking you places and shit.
See, I don't think I'd be good at that.
Yeah. And then you got to do it with his friends, talking to his friends at restaurants or whatever on the boat, and his friends are just as boring type of deal.
See, I would not be good at that because the thing about it
And
is
they're all
that
in their 60s and 70s, you know.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not real good at like pretending
Yeah.
to be something I'm not. I'm very introverted and I don't like bullshit. So even if I was trying to pretend to be normal and like I was trying to pretend to be interested and stuff like that, it would come out because look, the family I grew up in, we're a family of smartasses. We're all smartasses. It's just in our genes. And so we just are very naturally sarcastic. You know, and we have a hard time like trying to pretend to be normal. It's really hard. It's really hard. Me and my siblings, we're all kind of the same. We have a hard time. So I don't know if I'd be able to pull it off. That's why I'm saying like no Arab sheik is going to pay me $1 million to go sleep with him for a couple of days. It doesn't sound like much fun. I'd do it for $1 million, but it would be work. You know what I mean? CB said, "What's the one fetish you would never do?" Scat play. That's easy. Scat play. I know a lot of people are into that. I'm not shitting on people that are into that. Pun very much intended. But it's just gross to me. Like I said, I've been to some fetish parties where they were showing like videos of that, and I was just kind of like...
Show videos of what?
CB asked, "What's the one fetish you would never do?" And I said scat play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
Nasty.
a pretty easy one. I don't like anything to do with like poop or vomit. I don't really like pee either.
Pretty bad, yeah.
I don't really like pee either, but that's negligible. That's not that gross, but it's just kind of like anything having to do with shit or vomit. No thanks. No thanks. But yeah, so that's... I'm not like disparaging people that are into that. Good on you.
It's just, that's
I can't
them.
even watch that in a movie without gagging.
The best thing about the fetish scene is the fashion.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, the fashion, the clothes that they're wearing. The people in a lot of those events, they're pretty cool. I mean, I've been to like fashion, but I haven't been to any of like the purely fetish events at like people's houses, but fetish nights at clubs. Yeah, the people are okay. All right.
Honestly, it's weird because I kind of feel like and probably this is not as prominent nowadays, but I kind of feel like in the past, people had thought of people that were into fetish or people that were into horror or people that were into death metal or whatever were going to be like these scary people. But honestly, I think it's the other way around.
Yeah.
99% of the people that I met in fetish scene, horror scene, black metal are the nicest people that you would ever want to meet. Super nice.
Erica says that she's older and single now, and dating is just a chore.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I don't date either. I never went on dates. I met you at the club and liked you, and then next thing you know, me and you were a thing. That was my pattern.
It was very organic the way it happened.
Yeah, and that's the way I always keep it. I hated going to dinners or dates with just some kind of... It always felt like a job interview.
Yeah.
So I cut those off pretty quick. Players don't go on dates. That's for losers. If that girl likes you, she wants to be your friend. She knows you from some event, and you know what I mean? It happens very organically. You don't have to go on a damn interview, a boyfriend interview. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, I don't like
That's
that.
what it is.
Like I
It's a
said,
boyfriend
it's
interview.
kind of like it's a weird construct.
It's something from another era.
I don't remember ever really doing that either. Well, the thing about it, like, I married fairly young. I married when I was 22, and I was married for 14 years. And then, like, when I was about 38, I got divorced and then went back out on the scene. Honestly, I didn't really do dates then either.
Yeah.
Like, I either met a dude at the club and hooked up.
And then saw him after.
Like, for one night, it wasn't really one night stands, like, you know, for, like, a 2-week stand.
Yeah,
or something like
I
that.
knew her during that time. We were friends.
Right. And
You
it's
know,
just like, so it was
They were
that.
nice guys.
Or, yeah, like, or we just hung out and, and there was like no expectations. I wasn't like worried about it one way or the other, and it was kind of like nice like that.
Yeah.
Kind of nice. Like, you know, the guy called up, hey, you want to go to this bar and we'll get some sake and watch some naked girls get painted or something. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what
never
I mean?
supposed to feel like a date.
Yeah, like and
what
I
they
don't
would call it,
I don't really
date.
remember going on dates.
Yeah.
Even when I was single.
Let's go on and do shit. Let's go hang out.
Let's just go hang out.
Yeah.
Like I said, no expectations, no. And that's a lot better. It's like a lot less pressure. I don't like pressure. I have anxiety issues, so I don't really like.
I'll see some of these damn shows that they have on YouTube now. Like I think one of them was called it's called So What, or I don't remember what they are. But anyway, it's just like, if you ask me, kind of douchey dudes from the manosphere, fucking talking to different girls from different walks of life, different ages and shit. And you're just kind of interviewing them. And some of the women, you know, I've seen interviews with them and see the shit that they post on TikTok about what dating, what they say. They're fucking crazy. All right. They said, oh, no, you can't talk to me unless we go on a boyfriend date, basically. A boyfriend interview date. You got to do that. You have to spend at least $100. You have to do this and that. And fucking all these expectations out of some dude that doesn't know you. Okay.
Yeah, but there's always been shallow bitches like that. I knew some like that
lots
in
of that.
high school.
But evidently, they're all constantly crying now because dudes don't approach them and dudes don't ask them out. Well, it's because they saw all those TikTok videos. That's why. This is the era of social media. So dudes are like, oh, fuck that. You know what I mean? So a lot of these young guys are not asking women out on dates. Staying home playing video games, fucking watching porn and buying those dolls like we showed you. Probably. And another thing is that there are applications out there for dudes who can find fucking professional help. You know, fucking like Trist.link. Those are fucking hooker apps. They're everywhere. So a lot of those guys are like, well, why should I spend $100 on this chick and she's not gonna call me back anyway? I can spend $300 on this chick and hit it right off the bat. Fucking, you know, that's part of the agreement. Be in and out of there in an hour.
Well, I don't know why more dudes don't do that instead of just like crying about,
Yeah.
oh, women today, blah, blah, blah.
Well,
Like, just go to a hooker, bro.
That's what it's done in most other countries. You know what I mean? Fucking
Easy.
yeah. And they got women out there that are needy. You know, for some reason or another, they need the money, and they're willing to engage you on a contractual basis. It's not like it was back in the day where they're being pimped out, a streetwalker. We're not talking about that. These are independent, contracted players, and this is what she wants to do. And usually the safety's a little bit better. They do a face-to-face talk to you over the phone, and they usually
it is much
say
better nowadays.
that
Much
you
better.
know, if I don't have a photograph of your ID, no chance at all for my own safety, because they're recording who they're going with.
Well, could get murdered.
She could get killed, right?
I mean, that happens.
Right.
So don't, like, I feel like some dudes get offended that women are cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, can I have a picture of your driver's license and stuff? That's not,
Yep.
Look, we could get murdered. It happens.
Right, yeah.
We watch true crime. We know.
Yeah.
So don't be mad. Don't get offended and stuff. We don't know you.
She doesn't know you. Right.
We don't know you. You know, it's possible you're a lovely person, but we don't know that.
Yeah, so what she'll do is she'll take that and she'll fucking log it down, and she'll tell you, I'm going to log you down as being with you for this time.
Yeah.
Okay, if anything happens to me, they know it's you.
Right, exactly.
So that's how she...
Like I said, that's a safety measure.
Right.
We're not picking on men.
Right.
We're not, but it happens.
Right.
You have to watch your ass.
Right.
You got to watch your ass.
They will do that even if you're a regular, because a lot of the girls that get killed by a regular.
Yeah.
It's a regular customer that kills
And
them.
I actually was writing about a dude the other day that, he would go to sex workers like several times.
Kill her on the fifth time.
And then he'd kill it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just the first time, oh, you're all right now.
Yeah, no. You're going to be on a schedule.
You got to watch your back all the time if
Yeah.
you're in that industry.
Right.
If you're
So
in that
if you're
industry.
going to get, this is not a natural fucking thing. Or not a natural, this is a business contract.
Yeah.
She's got to fucking cover her ass
Yeah.
always. And she's going to tell you, whenever I'm with you, it's recorded.
Yeah.
It's logged.
Somebody knows where we're
Right.
at.
She's not going to go to the cops unless you kill her. Usually what it is she has a roommate.
Yeah.
Or a boyfriend sometimes too. Who knows where she is. She doesn't come back off that date. She's calling the cops. And there's none of this thing where, well, I can't call the cops. She's out there fucking hooking. No, the difference between murder and a fucking misdemeanor fucking shit. No. He's gonna go to the cops.
Yeah, I mean,
there's this weird,
like I said,
that they can't go to the cops. They can go to the cops.
Of course they can. Well, like I said, I kind of feel like
they're not gonna prosecute her.
I kind of feel like, and this is kind of come to light lately too, again, because of the whole bear and man in the woods thing.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, look, women are scared of men we don't know, because it's like you could very well be a serial. You could be Ted Bundy. We don't fucking know you. You know what I mean? You know, most men are not serial killers, but it's like it only takes one. So you have to watch your ass. Every girl that I know, every woman that I know, if they were going out on a date with a dude they met on, you know, some app or something like that, they would leave their contact information with at least one person, their family or their friend or something like that. And they're like, look, if I don't come back from this, this is who I'm with, this is who I'm. They'd send pictures and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like, we're not being mean, we're not picking on you or anything like that. We're just trying to like cover our ass. We don't know you.
It's an insurance policy.
We don't know you. We're not trying to be offensive. We're not trying to like make you mad or nothing like that. We just don't know who you are.
Right.
That's all. That's all.
And when she says we, she's not talking about her. She's not doing that. She's just saying that.
No, obviously, I'm just saying in general. Yeah. Because I don't do that shit. But you know what I mean.
Right.
I did dumb shit when I was a kid too, and probably could have got murdered many times over.
Yeah. Not hooking though.
No, not hooking.
That's not what she's talking.
But just like going home with a dude that you met at a bar.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you seem all right. I'm drunk.
Although, random girl from the bar is less likely to get killed on a date.
But you still never know,
because a lot of those serial killers are actually targeting professional women because they feel that they can get away with it. Because she's seen so many guys a day or week that it's gonna be hard to investigate who it was she was with. But not in the modern era. In the modern era, no, she can cover her fucking ass.
Yeah, Erica says, I always look the guy up online first before a date. Yeah, I kind of feel like everybody does nowadays, and you should. Because like I said, you don't know who that fucking bitch is. He's just a rando. Yeah. And like I said, you might be a lovely person. We're not picking on you specifically. It's just that we don't know you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, Victor's saying that big debate on Facebook right now. Yeah, that's what I saw.
Is what?
Asking women if they'd rather be in the woods with a bear or a random dude. And they say they always pick the bear. Yeah. And some men getting mad about that. And the reason that men are getting... the fact that men are getting mad about that is the reason that women are picking the bear. That's why.
Bear's not going to do anything sexual.
The bear might maul you. That's it. The dude could do. He could kidnap you. Yeah. He could keep you in a box for several days. He could he could cut your nipples off. He could do look. Yeah. And like men are getting mad about it. And I was like, that's why women are picking the bear. Do you understand that? Do you understand that's why they're picking the bear? Yeah. Because you're getting mad about them picking the bear. Ugh.
No, what it is that a lot of people
dudes are dumb.
It's
not dumb, just dense.
Well, women too. They do. It's just people have a tendency to see things through their own perspectives.
Well, men can't see things from women's perspective. That's what we're arguing about.
Yeah, they can. They can.
Yeah.
It depends on how intelligent they are, but no, they can. A lot of them. It doesn't dawn on them.
That's what I mean. It doesn't
dawn on them.
They're dense, not stupid, just dense.
One of the things that doesn't dawn on the average guy is how physically superior you are to women in terms of strength. You know what I mean? The average guy could just kill the average woman barehanded.
Duh. And we're very aware of that.
The average man doesn't realize that.
Very aware.
He doesn't realize that.
They get offended when we get
So
freaked out or scared.
She's at a disadvantage.
Right, and we're very aware of that.
That's why all my gays in the comments, why them motherfuckers are so daring. They'll go out with a dude because they're about equal strength. They can fucking hold their own. You know what I mean? But
most of us are not on that same...
And a strong man can kill multiple women at once. You know? You lock them in a room together. One after the other. Even if they gagged up on him. Yeah, but especially if he was a trained fighter. So the women are literally taking their lives in their hands, being around somebody who's so much stronger than them. Jen works out. If you look at what I curl and what Jen curls, it's night and day. Right. Night and day. You know, and it's not anything wrong with her. That's just women's build, even when they're on gear.
And I could say, like, if a dude was older or kind of skinny, I could probably take him. But if he's like bigger than me, because I'm little, I'm short. I'm only 5'2", 5'3". So a dude that's bigger than me, like I could probably like have a couple points because of rage, but it's just like
that's
no.
Getting mad helps, but that's not usually
it's
not
not gonna
usually not enough.
Be enough.
When you
and I'm very aware of that. Very aware.
I've had read other books in the past where they kind of gave blow by blow forensics details and shit that happened that came out in courtrooms about dudes that serial killers that killed women. What actually happens? One of the worst ones was a guy. I think his name was McDuff, I think, or McDowell. I don't remember. It was either McDuff or McDowell. Him and this other fucking retard were getting in his cars and abducting girls from the damn car wash and just random places. And I think his name was McDowell. Maybe it wasn't. No, McDuff, I think. Man, he'd torture them poor girls for hours with fucking cigarettes and fucking do nasty shit to them, you know, in the backseat of that car, and take them out in the wooded areas where it was dark, and eventually just beat her to death with his fists after hours of that shit. And the girls were saying, go ahead and kill me, just go ahead and kill me, you know, and just nasty shit. And the situation that, you know, the way it's painted out of how it went down, the average guy I don't think could ever imagine that. Because two other dudes get on one dude, they couldn't do that amount of damage to that dude that those two guys could do to that girl. It's a totally different world. So yeah, and then women hear these stories, you know, and all these horror stories. They feel a lot. They're very aware of how much they have to lose and how risky it is.
Yeah.
And dudes aren't. They're kind of boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, they just go. Well, that's what I mean, and I kind of feel like that's why I think this was kind of like emblematic of the whole thing about how clueless dudes are, because they don't experience the world the same way.
Yeah, you're not seeing through the same eyes.
You're not, and I wish that they would.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's why it's kind of good that this is kind of coming to light, because maybe some dudes will realize that it's like, yeah, most women would rather be trapped in the woods with a bear rather than a random man that we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that will wake some people up. But the fact that most dudes are getting mad about it, I was like, that's kind of the reason that we're picking the bear in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
And like, here's a good example of how clueless dudes are. Let's take this to a neutral area, like Korea. I lived in Korea for a year. I saw interviews done by a good-looking, tall, good-looking, good-conditioned black dude who's probably about 25, who can speak fluent Korean. He's got these long dreadlocks. I think it was called, he's on YouTube, I think it's called K Adventure, I think it's called K Adventure or K Explorer, something like that. He can speak fluent Hangul, which is Korean. He's talking to all these Korean girls about what kind of guys they like, what do they think of foreign guys, and he just asks some questions and they start talking. You can see a very big difference between if it's a Korean guy asking the same questions to Korean girls, or if it's what they would consider a foreign guy asking the questions. The girls will lie to the Korean guy. They'll tell the truth to the foreign guy. Okay? Because they try to protect the Korean guy's feelings.
Yeah.
All right?
Well, we have to protect dudes' feelings, because you never know if they're going to, like, kill you if you say something that makes them mad.
The Korean guys will ask these, what do you think of these foreign guys? And it's just, they're so big and scary. You know what I mean? Would you date them? Maybe, but maybe not. You know what I mean? They're scary. A big old black guy, big old good-looking black guy asks the Korean guys, and the Korean girls says, what kind of guys do you like? He says, we like foreign guys. He says, why do you like foreign guys? He says, so big and strong. They can protect you.
Right.
Because he's, that you don't find that intimidating. He goes, no, they're so friendly. You know, we see them in movies. You know, they're gentlemen. They put women first. So they're talking about chivalry.
Right.
Because they don't really have that in the East. They do, but it's just
which
it's
isn't
different.
Entirely true. But,
it's different. They're different.
I guess that's their perception.
Yeah, well, they're looking at Hollywood perceptions, and there are differences. I live there. there is kind of like, holding a door open for a woman, that is kind of an issue,
Which I don't really care about that. Like, as long as nobody drops the door in my face, I'm not really worried about it.
If a woman's pregnant, you should probably give up your seat. And fucking,
anybody should.
She should get time off from work, maybe, and so you have the baby.
I would give my seat up for a pregnant woman.
Yeah, not
like
so much
it doesn't have
to
just be a man.
Not so much in the East. You're out there
like
fucking,
baby, sit down.
You're out there pregnant, doing everything else, and fucking fighting until that baby fucking jumps out, and then it's like a non-event, according to what they say. And so, but anyway, the reason I was trying to forget where I was going with that.
I love it.
The girls in Korea were telling the truth to the black guy, because they feel like they didn't have to protect his feelings.
Right.
Okay. They were saying, no, we like the foreign guys. Each one of them said kind of like a different thing, but it was always like, oh, they're more physical. They're bigger, stronger. They got facial hair. It makes them look wild. They liked it. But then they'll tell the Korean guys that they don't like that, which I thought that was fucking interesting.
I know why.
The reason why I was going that way is because Korea has very low incidence of violence. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid of a fucking physically big dude. You know what I mean? They're just not, because it's not the violence against women in the way that it is here. It's not as it's not that prevalent here. It's just that they don't say it's like there's less serial killers there. That's a smaller place. It only has a couple big cities.
There are some, but not.
There's some, but they're just
like
not
here.
as many, right? Well, when you say here, it's 50 states. They're fucking big, much bigger than Korea.
Yeah,
and it's like
we have a lot of serial
killers. And it's a higher population.
True.
And it's a pretty free and open society, and serial killers can operate in environments like that.
Right.
Closed societies, they can't. They don't have access to women. Women are all locked up in the house, covered up and shit. But I don't know, just saying that women's expectations kind of vary from place to place, but in general, they all kind of seem to be the same thing. Okay, what I was going to say is that because of what I picked up from what the Korean girls told, the difference between the black guy and the Korean guy, it's kind of like the same effect that you see in Star Wars. During Star Wars and that whole thing, I've even checked it later, because I'll watch reactions to all the classic movies with younger people doing the reactions. Girls love Star Wars, the old Star Wars, the first 3 ones, and they like fucking Han Solo. Okay, they don't like Luke. They like Han Solo. He was a criminal.
Luke was a little whiny.
He manned up. He was tough.
But he got better as time went. But that was his arc.
It was a story arc. If you study the character, the symbolism that's happening in the story arc of Han Solo, he's a bad dude. The first time they show you Han Solo, he kills a dude.
Yeah.
Now, that dude's trying to kill him too. But they've established that this is a dangerous man. All right? He's a fucking scoundrel. This princess doesn't like him because he's of a lower social class, but she's attracted to him. Eventually, she falls in love with him. He's cute, all right? But he's also kind of dangerous. But he's not dangerous to you. Yeah. That's the difference. He can protect you. He's actually doing all these tricks to get them out of trouble. It's not flim-flam. He actually can produce. You know what I mean? He actually got shit done. He ran the ship into the damn asteroids and hid, and he got him away from the stormtroopers many times, escaping Darth Vader, doing all this shit. So, Han Solo could actually deliver. So that's kind of what these Korean girls, I think, are talking about. They kind of like a bad guy, but not a guy who's bad to them.
Well,
as a guy that can protect them, he's kind of dangerous, but he's not dangerous to them. So I think it's kind of a power thing to women. They feel that they're more protected, but they're also more powerful because they feel like they tamed this guy a bit.
Yeah.
That they got him under control.
Well, and I would argue, too,
that
the reason that Han Solo is attractive is because he's a bad dude, kind of. But the shit that he's doing, is objectively not really that bad.
No.
And like he's not hurting innocent people.
Killed
He's
Greedo.
not...
He fried poor Greedo though.
Right, but he was trying to hurt
Kill
him.
him.
Like he
Right.
was another criminal.
Right.
So like nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
And he also had a code of honor.
Yeah.
So he's not just like hurting random ass people or innocent people or anything. He's not doing that.
Let me amend that a little bit. At first, he kind of didn't have a code of honor. He didn't want to save the princess. He also just wanted to collect his money and leave. But he said, fuck it, went back and saved Luke. He developed a code of honor.
Yeah.
Then
He
that's
had
really when-
one.
yeah.
I think the thing
He
about...
had one, but I think he might have been in denial that he had it.
Exactly.
All right.
And I think that maybe, if if I'm reading a lot into Star Wars, but I think that maybe that's what Leia saw in him, that he did actually have a code of honor. He was just like denying it because fuck that, I don't want to get involved. Because he didn't want to develop feelings, he didn't want to get involved in anything and stuff like that. He was trying, right.
He's hanging out with his bro fucking.
That
flock.
happens a lot with like dudes that they've been burned in the past,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like, look, I
He's
don't even
world weary and shit.
right. Like I don't want to get involved with anybody. Like if I fall in love or if I
Yeah.
get involved with friends or anything like that, it'll just be this whole thing, and I don't want to get involved in that. So they just kind of pretend that they don't care about
Solo,
anything.
he'd been to one side of the galaxy and another. He's seen all kinds of weird shit. But he never saw one force that controlled everything. That's some hokey bullshit. So they established all that. Exactly. See, this is the thing. People say that's mythology, though. Those are just movies. That's not real. No, mythology is real. If you know the story and I know the story, we can talk about it. And in that story, it's demonstrating things that are real. None of that happened, but it happens every day.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people are relating to it.
Yeah.
Or people wouldn't still be talking about it.
Right.
So it's like, even though it isn't a real thing, it's emblematic of something that really happens that people are relating to, and so that's causing a discussion.
Right.
That's all. CB says, I don't get why girls find serial killers in prison attractive. I don't either,
It's
honestly.
an extreme version of what we just talked about.
Yeah,
He's
I kind of
dangerous,
feel
he
like...
kills women, but he won't hurt me. I'm special.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
I kind of feel like up to a point, like I get why women like quote unquote bad boys. You don't like bad boys like serial killers, obviously. That's a whole different thing. But you do like dudes that are kind of bad. You know, they don't like authority. They kind of, but they still are like good people deep down. You kind of like that. But it's just kind of like women that are into serial killers.
That's an extreme.
That's like an extreme outlier of that.
And those women like that evidently don't know that they're like that until they meet one, because shit, Ted Bundy and shit met his girlfriend like that. She worked in the courts.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she wasn't
up.
like lusting over serial killers. She met that dude and it struck her. He'd never kill. He never hurt me. I'm special. And she thought he was something
I
exotic.
think it's that. I think it's that. Well, I think that's kind of like I said, I think that's why a lot of women, like not all women obviously, but there's, a certain number of women that like quote unquote bad boys. And they like that because it's like, oh, he fucks up people, but it's like he wouldn't hurt me and I'm special and he loves me and he doesn't like anybody else. Like I get that. But being into serial killers, like that's the way outlier version of that. And I don't get that at all, because serial killers are like the scum of the fucking earth.
Yeah.
They just target fucking innocent people that did nothing to them, and they do horrible things to them. It's like, I get killing people that had it coming. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, man, just like breaking into somebody's house and like fucking tying them up and torturing them and shit like that. It's like there is no
extreme sexual fantasies.
There is absolutely no universe in which I would find that attractive in any way, shape, or form.
Wires crossed.
Yeah, that's messed up. Yeah, messed up.
And for some reason, serial killers can get sidekicks, and some of them are females.
I don't understand that either. But see, I'm fascinated by that. We've done a couple shows, like for a while, we did like every Valentine's Day. I know this fucked up, but we did like a show about killer couples, because I've always been fascinated by that dynamic.
Yeah, how does
that happen? Yeah. Like I understand how like a dude becomes a serial killer. That's not that mysterious, but how he can get a woman to go along with it and sometimes do worse shit than he does. Yeah. Like, I kind of get it, but I don't.
I don't get it at all.
I kind of get it, but I don't.
I don't understand how he could get her into it. And then I think it's weird that he can get that they sometimes can get another dude into it. That's some weird.
That's
shit.
not mysterious either.
No,
I don't
weird.
find that mysterious.
Finding two of them or one of them creating another one. That's a weird process. That wouldn't work on me. They must have to.
Well,
be able to
no,
pick
but
them right.
I think it would be more common.
Yeah.
Like, look at two scumbags like Henry Lee Lucas and Otis
Yeah.
Toole, who
Yeah.
didn't kill as many people as they said, but still, they were still scumbags, and they still murdered people. Like, the chances of two dirtbags like that, like, finding each other, I kind of feel like not that rare.
Yeah.
Not that rare. You know, and somebody like, what was his name? Like Leonard Lake and Ing, whatever his name
those
was.
guys are some
Like
of the
those
worst.
two scumbags.
Yeah.
You know, it's unusual, but it does happen. I kind of feel like it's more common for two dudes to come across and say, oh, you like serial kill? Hey, me too. Let's, like, do it together.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, that's not weird to me. So it's weirder to me when a dude has a girlfriend and he's a serial killer and he's like, hey, honey, I'm really into, like,
Killing chicks.
murdering women and, like,
Yeah.
also torturing them. And
Yeah.
she's just like, well, I don't like, oh, okay, let's do it. Like, what the fuck? How does that happen? Like, look, like the Moores murders, like fucking Ian Brady and Myra Hindley and all that kind
weird.
of stuff. And, like, all that kind of shit. Like, I'm fascinated by the psychology behind that. And I can kind of understand how it happens. And especially, I think it happens when the woman is either psychotic herself or is super, super passive. Super passive and super people-pleasing. And then it's kind of like a frog in boiling water
He
situation.
probably doesn't tell her what he's gonna do.
No, I think he
She's
like
just
builds
with him, and then he starts
her
picking on
up
some
to it.
girl, and for some reason she kind of reacts to it in a weird way, and bonds with him while he's beating on some other girl, and he goes, "We're gonna do." I don't know. I can't imagine it.
I kind of feel like
Whenever we hear like a survivor says what had happened, it wasn't the first time that the couple did it. It was many victims into it. So I don't know how it begins. You know what I mean? The female sidekick was already in the groove.
yeah.
But how do you get her in that groove? That's some weird shit.
I feel like I think it's the same way that if you're any kind of abuser, it's the same way that you kind of ease her into the abuse so she like deals with it. So I think it's the same kind of psychology behind it.
Well, that
so
one
they
dude-
always kind of target vulnerable
Yeah.
women that have been abused in the past,
Yeah.
women that have mental problems or drug problems or something like that.
Well, that one couple that kept the teenage girl in a box for years and years. Almost 10 years, I think it was.
Yeah. There was one of those that
He
happened
was
in Australia,
abused.
too.
He was kind of abusing her, doing a bunch of. She was just real passive, and he was doing a bunch of BDSM type stuff on her.
Yeah.
And says, "We're gonna go get another girl," and she was so scared of him. She's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and I
then-
think fear
yeah,
is a lot
and then
of it
once,
too.
I think they were already married, and then, if I remember correctly, he got one girl, and then he killed that one like a day into it because she kept screaming, and that wife saw that happen. They were going to get another one, and she was scared to say no, I guess. And they got the other one, and then she realized that when he had a captive, he didn't focus on her as much doing all that stuff.
Right.
It was just the new captive, so she was free of it. That was the girl in the box story.
Yeah. Well, shit, we saw one on there's a show on, is it on Max or Hulu? I can't remember. But we started watching it the other day that's called Evil. It's called Evil Lives Inside or something like that. And it's kind of like a, documentary series. Each one's like an hour long, and they're kind of about people whose family members like ended up being killers. And there was one where the woman's husband ended up raping and killing a girl and putting her in a box. Like, he'd got the box like before. He had all these fantasies about that. He tried to do them on the wife, and he did some of them on the wife, like tying her up and fucking her up and cutting her and shit like that. And she wasn't that into it, but he ended up killing a girl.
Some other guy in Mississippi.
No. It was
was this?
well, he didn't kill the girl. She escaped, but he killed her boyfriend.
Yeah, that was that guy. He was from Mississippi.
Yeah, that might have been Mississippi. Now that you're talking
he's
about
from
it.
Mississippi.
But
Like one of the only ones from Mississippi.
she was on there. She's older now, obviously, but she was kind of talking about
She
it.
kicked
and
her way out of that damn box. It wasn't strong enough.
yeah, and she actually met with the girl that had escaped, and it was this whole thing. Like, I was kind of like tearing up about it because it was kind of an emotional situation because the girl that had escaped from the box, she thought all these years, because nobody told her, that this dude's wife and kids, because he had a wife and kids, was mad at her for essentially being the person that busted out of the box and went to the cops and like got the dude arrested.
Which is such a bizarre thing to think.
And they're like, well, no, I understand why she thought that though. And she was just kind of like, oh my god, the family must hate me because like the family before this was like this perfect family with
so
like
they
a wife
expected
and
her
kids.
to die. I'd be like, fuck that family.
Yeah, and it's just pretty much. But yeah, she was fucked up for like a really long time. And like finally like on this show, like her and the wife met, and the wife's like, thank God for you. Like you're my hero because, you know, I left him, but you know, after I found out what happened and it happened to you, like you're my hero. You got out, you reported him, you got him arrested and everything like that. And like the whole thing was like real emotional, and I was like, man, this is a fucked up story. I didn't expect to feel that kind of way about it, but you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, I understand the dynamic. The thing about dudes like serial killers or any kind of like abusers or psychopaths or anything like that, they tend to target partners.
Evil Lives here on Hulu.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Whether it's men or women, usually it's women, but they tend to target women that are vulnerable in some way. Usually they've been abused before, like usually they come from a family that has abused them, and they can spot that. I don't think they do it on purpose.
Have a good one, Oracle. She's gone.
Oh, good night, Oracle. Yeah, so it's like, but they know what to look for. And they're like, if they get with somebody that's already been abused and is already in that mindset of like, we have to constantly appease this person so they don't hurt us. If you find somebody like that, I mean, it doesn't take much to get them to do whatever you want. And you can like kind of build them up to it. It's like, look, we're going to start with this little thing, you know? And I don't even think they're doing they might not even be doing it consciously, but they do target, whether consciously or unconsciously, people that are already predisposed. Because look, like, you know, somebody that had, you know, like a healthy self-esteem and like a healthy background and stuff like that, they met a person like that, they'd be like, get the fuck far away from me. You know what I mean? They wouldn't put up with it. But somebody that had been abused in the past, somebody that had really low self-esteem, somebody that had other mental issues, they might meet this person and be like, not see the red flags. And then by the time they got into it, it would be too late. And then they would just already be in, they just have to go along with it. And now they're like scared because this person's going to kill me now if I don't go along with it. So I kind of feel like that happens a lot in those kind of situations. So it might be that, as simple as that. But it's a good show. I mean, I've been watching it. Like I said, I can't watch it too much because Tom gets depressed if I watch too much true crime. I have to watch it by myself.
I don't like that shit.
I have to watch it by myself a lot of time. It's weird. I don't like it either, but at the same time, it's like fascinating and I can't stop watching it. I can't stop watching it. Even though it's like sometimes I'll be watching it and be like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like I get like really upset about it, but it's like I can't stop watching it. It's like a fucking car crash. I can't look away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. But yeah. Erica says, I grew up with a guy that killed 3 people. So technically makes him a serial killer. He was always odd. I would like to know more about that, actually. That's fucked up.
Well, did he kill him for sexual reasons, though? Serial killer, really, they have to be sexual.
Can I have
basically.
another one?
Yeah.
It's Friday night. I'm partying. It's party day. True crime is addictive, says Erica. It is, and I can't really articulate why that is. And I know there's like a weird meme that like a lot of women are into true crime, which they are. I mean, women love true crime. And it's not always because we're plotting to kill y'all. Sometimes it is. But I don't think that's the only reason. I don't know what it is. Like I said, Tom doesn't like it. Like I'll watch it. I'll sit there and watch it for like 4 hours, like at a stretch. I don't get, like when he was in Mississippi, like, you know, visiting his dad, like when his dad died, like I just watched 3-4 hours of that shit every night. And I was just like riveted because I can't do that when he's home. Because he's like, after a couple hours, he's like, can we watch something else, please? It's like, this is so depressing. But it's like, I don't know. I don't find it depressing. I just find it really interesting, even though it's depressing and horrifying and everything like that. But it's just kind of like, I can't stop watching it. I don't know why. I can't stop watching it. I can't explain it. I feel like most women probably can't explain it. I can't explain it. The Phantom says, the 80s slasher flick, Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Oh, I kind of remember that. Is great backwoods slasher film. Proves why it's not a good idea to go hiking in the woods. Same with the 82 film The Forest. Yeah, I might have to like rewatch that actually. I don't think I've ever seen The Forest, but I have seen Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Hugo said it reminds me of Dee Wallace and the other guy in Frighteners. Yeah, it was that, and that was based loosely on Charles Starkweather.
Yeah.
And what was her name? Fugate?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. I mean, she was real young. And as I said, I kind of feel like psychopaths like that.
She didn't do anything though. She just waited in the car.
No, she didn't.
She was scared of that guy, if I remember correctly.
That's the thing. I kind of feel like there's a weird.
If I remember correctly, I don't remember all the details.
I don't know. I don't really have that, but I know that a lot of women have this kind of thing where it's just kind of like they're real into dudes that are dangerous, but not to them. But see, that's the thing. If a dude is dangerous to other people, eventually he's probably going to be dangerous to you as well. So you probably shouldn't get too tied up.
That depends though. Depends on
it depends on the person, but like I said, you don't know.
Well, it also depends on. You said that guy's dangerous, but it depends on what he is.
Ugh.
All right.
Yeah, like what kind of dangerous
What are you talking about?
is he?
Right. Are we talking about a cop? Are we talking about a soldier? What are we talking about? You know, I mean, there's all kinds of.
Are we talking about somebody that gets in random street fights?
Yeah, right.
That's probably not
Talking about a guy who's slinging dope and fucking knocking off fucking enemies.
Also probably not great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all different.
It's the context does matter. Right. But the thing about it is that you never know. I mean, right. I've seen enough true crime shit and I've written about enough true crime shit to know that like sometimes you've been married to somebody for 20 years and suddenly they fucking flip out one day and murder you.
Well, we were talking about Han Solo. He's a good archetype because we know the character. So we can so you as the audience know what kind of character we're talking about. He was dangerous. But the thing is, it showed you right there in the movie, you had to fuck with him. You had to try to kill him. You had to, you know what I mean? You had to try to stop him from saving other people. You didn't want to cross him.
He wasn't going to fuck with you if you didn't fuck with him.
Because he was trying to steal from you.
Right.
Or dangerous because he was fucking wanted to rape this chick, so I'm going to have to kill her afterwards. You know, that's not what, you know.
That's a whole different.
That's not right.
That's a whole different level. Yeah, so I feel like when you say somebody's dangerous or a bad boy or something like that, there's different
bunch of different ways,
levels to that.
Yeah, the female archetype, what a female would be interested in would be the archetype what Han Solo is. He's a dude that can defend you. He can defend himself if he's crossed, and he can fight for a cause.
And he's a good dude deep down, like he had an honor code,
right?
Like, he's not just going to fuck up random people just for the sake of it.
Right, and you could be a same good dude, but if you couldn't handle your business, if you couldn't defeat an enemy, or you couldn't save people...
Or you couldn't stand up for yourself, or stand up for your loved ones or something.
that dude's not hot. That dude's not hot. If you cast your lot in with that dude, you could get your shit killed, because he can't defend you. Now, some people say, we don't need that, now we have laws. No. Law and order and money is a temporary thing. Normally, that doesn't exist in history. This is something from the 20th century, 21st century. Used to be, you had to be like Han Solo to make it. All right, that's really closer to the global norm throughout history. Modern, so-called civilized dudes are kind of a fucking modern thing, and doesn't seem to be lasting. Because if you ask me, we're at an end empire situation. It's going to get really pretty rough. I mean, I'm confident I can make it. I'm confident Jen can make it. I think most people probably will. But people that depended on shit, and especially stability and first world problems, you're going to be in for a fucking disappointment. Which, man, I'm glad that I've had formative years in the fucking Mississippi and Brazil and places where there wasn't really, you know, law and order as you know it, you know, because I'm psychologically and physically more prepared for something like that. I don't need it as much. Other people fall apart when they don't not being taken care of. You know.
Ira says, oh, and this is actually like a pretty insightful comment. True crime helps me with making a checklist on what to look for. Plus making a list for a go bag for survival. Yeah, I mean, that honestly might be why a lot of women are into true crime.
They want to know how to defend
Because
themselves.
they're like, hey, like, well, you know, is my boyfriend, is my husband, is this dude I'm dating or something like that? Is he acting like that? That's sketchy. And it's like, what can I do in this situation? It's practical.
Yeah, women's skills are not about physical brawn. It's about awareness, being smart, you know, making decisions, extricating themselves.
You got to see red flags, man.
Right. And if I remember correctly, when it comes to true crime products, women do most of the buying.
We do,
yeah. That's real common.
And it might be like, and
More common with-
please, dudes, don't get offended by this, but it might be like a knowing your enemy situation.
Well, that's not a good way to put it. What is it? That's a survival.
Yeah.
It's a fucking survival and security training.
Like I said, none of us want to get raped and murdered. So it's just kind of like, we want to see other scenarios where that kind of shit happen.
Yeah.
So we can assess,
Yeah.
you know, am I in this situation? Like, and if I'm, you know, if I'm dating a dude, it's like, and it goes in that situation, like, what can I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
so these
like,
are not
so I
things
get it.
that cross men's minds.
Right.
They don't think
but
about
we
it.
think about that stuff. Well, like I said, I kind of feel like maybe you're not aware, but it's like every time I go somewhere by myself, which I don't usually because I don't like to, but, you know, if I go down and put gas in my car or something like that, I get out of the car putting gas in the car, I got eyes in the back of my fucking head. Who's at this gas station? He's good. Because I've heard some stories. So it's just kind of... So I feel like a dude, it wouldn't even occur to them. But it's like the whole time I'm just like, who's here at this gas station?
No, but dudes, the only thing you think of is like, man, there's fucking 4 dudes over there. You know what I mean? They look hostile. You know? They worry about... And it's not...
Everyone
looks
looks hostile to me.
It's not like you think the dudes are going to fucking jump in your booty. You're a dude. You think those motherfuckers might come over here and fucking shoot me. Take my money.
Well, I think that too,
That's
but they are also going to jump in my booty before they shoot me.
So it's very different. The dudes might come over and shoot me or just pile on you and fucking take your money.
Or they might like pull me in their car and take me somewhere and like
Yeah.
put me in a fucking box someplace
Right,
or chain me to a pole or some shit.
Yeah, so that's not
And
something
cut
that
my
dudes are
nipples
really
off
thinking
and
about.
whatnot. Right, but it's like we have
See
to
the
think about
security
that.
cameras and how it goes with a dude. You're walking down the street and a dude just fucking comes up behind you, bam, fucking hits you in the head, takes your shit.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all
most
that
of the
happens.
time,
That's
like I
what
said,
mostly what it is.
I write my
Yeah.
crime blog, and I try to do like 50-50 mix unsolved murders of like dudes and women. Most of the dudes that get killed, it's usually like robbery, or it's a hate crime, like it's a gay dude or, you know, someone from another race or something like that, and a bunch of dudes jump on him and beat him to death or something like that. The women victims, that's a different story. It's very rarely a robbery. It's usually a sexual motive, or somebody that's been stalking them or something like that. So it's kind of a different situation. I'm not saying it's not as bad. I mean, obviously they're both dead, but it's not the same.
Well, the women, it could be more
Situation.
prolonged and more
Right.
debasing. See,
Sure,
and her honor is fucking destroyed, and then she's killed.
sure.
Fucking terrible, and then her whole family suffers over it. So yeah, women got to watch their back. It's the way it is.
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, I kind of feel like a lot of dudes don't really realize how aware we have to be of that, like of all time, at all times. You
For
know?
all this time, I haven't taken you to the range and trained you.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You keep saying it, but
Yeah, I never get around to it. We never fucking go. Every time I go by myself. You can't go. So shit like that. I haven't been in a while.
Well, yeah, you. I don't.
And
even
we're
remember
out
the
here
last time
now.
you-
We got better ranges out here. And they got a cool car now with a big trunk.
that we can put bodies in.
No, I put all
No, I'm
my
just
shit
kidding.
back there. Fucking, we have a shooting day at one of the local ranges around here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
We
worry
haven't,
too.
we haven't got you your own fucking mechanism yet.
No, I don't have anything like that. Well, like I said, I don't. When I'm in the house, I don't really worry too much about it.
Well, I'm here too most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you're here.
Yeah.
I'm very rarely here by myself, unless, like I said, when you were gone, that was.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think about it then, either, because I'm like, look, if like somebody breaks in, they're way the fuck down there. It's like, you have guns here. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you need to get some more time though.
Yeah, sure, but it's just kind of
shut
like,
off some stuff.
look,
She-
you got to come up the stairs.
Right, yeah.
And I got lots of time to get some shit before you get up here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just kind of, so I didn't worry too much about it when you weren't here.
I got
but
good shit up here. I got AKs and ARs.
That's what I mean. So I wasn't too worried about it.
Somebody was asking earlier on about the new, I think it's called a SIG Spear. I don't remember the damn. I know, I don't even have XM7, I think, XM7, I think is what it was. U.S. Army adopted a new rifle. All right. And they asked what I thought about it. I think it's fucking insane. All right, what they bought. It's the same fucking problem that militaries do, is that they always fight the last war. Because the AR-15 is in 5.56, 5.56 couldn't shoot from one fucking Afghan hill to another Afghan hill very effectively. They wanted to go to a bigger caliber. So they basically took the AR-15 and turned it into an AR-10, which was the original AR. Africa bought those back in the 60s before we ever bought the M16, the AR-10, which was a 7.62 M16, a little bit bigger. It was a battle rifle. It was not an assault rifle. It could fire full auto, but it was just you couldn't control it. So it was best on just single shots. So that's what they did. The SIG Spear is just an AR-10. It's the same thing as an AR-15. It's just in 5.56. Except they put it in except in 7.62. Except they put it in this fucking exotic ass caliber. That's very high pressure. It's fucking real punishing to shoot full auto. I've seen guys shoot it, and experienced guys that I would trust that have military backgrounds. They said this bitch is a handful of full auto. It's also got comes equipped with a fucking sound suppressor. Fucking crazy, all right? You don't need a sound suppressor for some shit like that. Not for a fucking, not general issue. And it came with 2 different rounds. A combat round that had a steel base in it to contain a fucking really super high pressure charge. And a regular full brass case that was kind of toned down, and it was more like 7.62, which is a little milder. The idea is that for standard issue, they'd give you the regular brass case, and that's what you would train with, and that's what most people would carry in the Army. Guys that were infantry and fighting enemy soldiers, they were going to give them the full power cartridge, which tears that rifle up quicker. They were going to give them that so they could defeat body armor. Another fucking dream, all right? They did all of this shit because of body armor and Afghanistan. They went through all this fucking expense to buy this and develop this new rifle, and it's going to be grift, all right? I doubt they will ever fully implement that rifle. Probably end up just in special forces, and it would be an option. What's better was the AR-15 because it was smaller, lighter. You can carry more ammunition. It's effective. Armies have a weird habit of always fighting the last war. Not the next war, the last war. We already went away from rifles like the Spear. It was called a battle rifle, all right? The M14, G3 type rifles, anything that was a full-size rifle. We went away from those. The AR-15 was an improvement. It was kind of like a submachine gun and a rifle combined. So, once again, they're fighting the last war. So, the next war, they'll have this fucking Spear, and they'll be in a jungle somewhere where all the advantages of that fucking Spear vanish. It'll be something close range. And they'll say, well, it's too much power. Because that's what they said last time. Should have just kept that fucking AR-15. If you needed more power, you can fucking put another upper on it in a different caliber. It's a quick, even the same magazine. It's called 300 Blackout. 300 Blackout is a little bit more power. That would have been better in Afghanistan than the 5.56. It's grift. Somebody made a shit ton of money off that contract, and fucking palms were greased. AR-15s and M16 style shit is better. And if you want more power, go with the 300 Blackout upper. Okay, that was my answer to the question.
Tammy says the YouTube channel Briefcase does old murder cases from all over the world, and most of the women killed are because they got pregnant and the baby daddy did them in. Yeah, that was very, very common, especially in the early 20th century. Yeah. And I feel like, and I don't know if this is still the case, but statistically, when pregnant women get killed, it's 99% of the time it's the baby daddy that did it. 99% of the time. So that's like the biggest
funny
thing
that you
that
say-
pregnant women have to worry about is the dads killing them.
You know that news dude, Joe Scarborough? His
Yeah.
wife, Minka Brzezinski? That dude was actually, evidently, in his office one time, this was years back, they found his, what do you call him, intern? Dead in there.
Oh, I remember hearing about that.
Dead
Yeah.
from a head injury.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
He didn't get prosecuted for it.
never
though,
got
did he?
prosecuted from it. And,
I remember hearing about
and
that.
the word is that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
They never just say who the father was.
I wonder.
And that motherfucker, I guarantee you, that's enough dirt to get him to. I bet you the
Yeah,
CIA
why did he
run that-
never get...
Never got charged. Because why? He's married to a famous fucking woman. The Brzezinski, Minka Brzezinski's dad was a big fucking player in the damn global government. The Brzezinski's they fucking.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. Joe Scarborough. He's on, what is it, MSNBC or CNN, one of the two? All those dudes.
Nah, didn't he do that? What was that fucking stupid morning show?
Never got prosecuted. Never even investigated.
No. I heard about it, though.
And everybody said, I'm not saying he did it.
Yeah,
Word on the street
allegedly,
was
allegedly.
that he was having an affair with that little girl.
I mean, that would not shock me, obviously. Because all those type of people are fucking...
How did she end up in his office dead with a head injury?
Yeah, that seems a little fishy,
Pregnant,
doesn't it?
laying on the ground. That's weird. And why was
Well-
he never investigated? Ain't
Yeah.
that some shit? Ain't that
Morning Joe, that was the show that he
Morning
did.
Joe.
He was kind of a right-winger. But yeah. But yeah, I don't know if this is still the case, but generally, when pregnant women turn up dead, 99% of the time, it's the baby daddy that did that shit. Yeah. And that's honestly like when, and especially women that are in relationships that were kind of like abusive or controlling to start with, when they get pregnant, that's like the most dangerous time for them. CB says, if you break into my house, you will become my personal property. Yeah, I kind of feel like where the neighborhood where we live, we kind of live, it's not out in the country, but it's kind of like quasi-country. You know what I mean? So it's not, you're not going to get like random ass people like wandering into the neighborhood because we're kind of out in a rural area, like farms and stuff. So that's the thing. So I wasn't too worried about it. Like, yeah, some people in the neighborhood said, oh, my car got broken into or whatever. It's like, you know, until we got the new car, which is older than my old car, like nobody's going to break into my car because it was like a shitty looking fucking 2004 Ford Taurus. Please break into it. Please steal it. Like, you know what I mean? I'll get insurance money. But you know what I mean? So it was that. So I wasn't too worried about it. And honestly, I've never been that worried about anybody breaking in. If they did, if anybody broke in, it would probably wake me up because Tom always has his earbuds in. I would have to wake Tom up because he wouldn't hear anything.
I only have one earbud in.
And I'd be
Not
like,
both of them, just
hey,
one.
somebody broke in. You might want to shoot that person. And you know what I mean?
It would cause a lot of noise to get in here.
Yeah, and like I said, we're upstairs.
And the cats would wake me up.
And the cats would jump on the bed and be
Yeah.
like, Daddy, Daddy.
Somebody's in here.
Some
in here.
weirdos in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cats
Pookie
would
would
totally.
be all over me.
Pookie would freak out.
Yeah.
She freaks out if her treats are too low.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes in the house, because she does not like strangers. So it's
Yeah.
like if some weirdo came in, she'd be like,
Better than any guard dog. Pookie
What the
fucking
fuck?
be
Yeah.
jumping all over me. Somebody's in the house.
she'd be jumping on your head.
Yeah.
Wake up, wake up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
She knows what a stranger is.
People say like cats are not as good as dogs.
Oh yeah, they can.
I disagree.
If you got a close
I
relationship, you know them. They'll fucking tell you when something's wrong.
Oh, Pookie would absolutely alert.
She tells me when something's wrong all the fucking time, but it's
Yeah.
usually about the dish, treat dish.
It's
and
usually
how much-
minor shit.
and how much water's in the watering machine.
I mean, she has a
Your
way of
water
like
fountain.
letting you know
Yeah,
when something is not to her liking.
she can talk. She just does
Yeah.
it her own way.
Right.
She looks at you, and it's where she is in this. Look at that. Look at that. You see it? See
Yeah.
it? Tray.
Looking,
The tray is empty.
looking,
Tray's
looking.
low. It's only got a couple
looking.
treats. You feed me.
Right.
She knows what she's doing.
Well, and the thing about Pookie is that we have had her since she was, what, 6 weeks old?
Yeah.
I think she was 6 weeks old when we got her. She had just been weaned.
Read what CB said on the bottom.
Where? Oh, an FBI agent got 15 years for killing his information when he got us pregnant. Killing his information when he got her pregnant. The Emil Clark film. Informant, maybe.
Informant, maybe.
When he got her pregnant, the Emil Clark film from 2019 was best on it. My cat is female and doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
We have 3 female cats. They all have completely different personalities.
Yeah.
Pookie is not shy about. We've had Pookie since she was tiny. I think she was 6 weeks old when we got her, and she was abandoned by her mom. So we raised her, and she is like a human, pretty much. So she has like facial expressions. She has like we have like a rapport. We know what she's talking about. She has like a way of communicating. She has like, she'll look at you in a certain way, and you know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like if she wants something, she'll jump up on your face and be like, "Hey, can you
she
take care of the
me
shit?"
every fucking day.
She does.
Constantly fucking runs up and then runs and tries to get me to chase her. And I'll grab her like that. And look, she's fucking little and fat and heavy. I'll pick her up like that, and she's going like that. And if I blow on her, she fucking loses it.
She loves it.
Like
though.
I'm
She
killing
loves
her.
it.
Blowing on her belly and shit. Fucking funny.
She loves it though.
But then she won't run.
She
like,
keeps coming back. Do it again, Daddy.
Do it again. I'm fucking.
Her and Daddy wrestle like every single day.
She's funny.
Well, and it's funny that like how different we have 3 female cats.
Yeah.
And their personalities, I mean, their ages are very different. But their personalities are like super
Pookie's a
different.
Manx, though. They say Manxes are more like a dog than they are a cat.
Well,
She's like
Bambi
dog.
is a Manx too.
Yeah.
And she's similar, but she's not. Her personality is a little bit different. We got her when she was a little bit older. She was 18 months old when we got her. And she'd already had a litter, they told us.
Yeah.
So, and she took a little while to kind of acclimate. And I kind of feel like she's gotten to the point now where we're her people now. She's definitely more close to me. I feel like she's a mama's girl. Pookie's a daddy's girl. She loves mama too. But Bambi is like all about mama.
Yeah.
She follows me around everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like when she's not sleeping, if I get up from my desk to like go get some water or some coffee or something like that, she immediately runs in front and just flops. Please pet my belly.
Yeah.
She just wants attention
Yeah.
all the time.
She tries to get me to chase her.
Yeah.
She runs from me when she sees me, but then goes like, "Are you not gonna chase?" Like, no. And I think she flirts. She gives me these long looks like, "Can you come here?"
Yeah, she has that face.
She flirts. Yeah. She flirts.
They have like very different facial expressions too, which is very funny.
Yeah.
Our other cat, our older cat, Beijing, who Tom had before I met you.
Yeah.
Because she's, what, 14? 13, 14 years old. She is like a princess. She's very aloof. She very rarely comes upstairs.
Yeah.
She just kind of hangs out.
She comes up here just to steal food
She comes up here to steal food.
from the other cats. Yeah.
But she sleeps on the back of the couch, and it's like when she comes up, she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And she's just like very much like that.
Yeah.
You know, so she's very kind of like.
And I'm not sure she can see real well either. She doesn't ever.
She might be. She's a little bit older.
Yeah. Well, I think she was always kind of like a little bit blind. She never really looked you in the eyes, and she was just kind of looking around.
Yeah.
She's either an airhead or her vision wasn't really good.
But our other 2 cats, like, they will absolutely like make super intense like eye contact. So, I don't know. So I kind of feel like this whole thing, because I kind of feel like some people have a perception of cats not being the same as dogs. It's just like they're not they're more aloof, or they don't interact with people the same way, and I have not found that to be the case.
Yeah.
Like, at least like our 2 younger cats are very interactive.
Yeah.
So much so that they will absolutely not leave you alone ever.
Okay, so we should change subject from the cats.
Why?
Because I want to talk about James Bond.
Ooh.
We saw 2 James Bond movies.
Goldfinger.
Yeah. And I've never seen a
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery James Bond movie. And I wanted to compare him to Roger Moore.
The Roger Moore ones.
So we did a review on fucking...
On Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die, yeah.
Sure. On Monday.
And there's a big difference. Now that I've seen 2 Roger Moore movies, or 1.5, we didn't see the end of From Russia with Love yet. I think there's about another hour left. Maybe not. Even not even that much. Maybe.
Well, here's the thing.
But I was able to fucking get a fucking feel for it.
The Roger Moore movies. We watched Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
We started watching For Your Eyes Only, but it was like super boring.
Couldn't finish it.
And I couldn't
I've
get
seen
into it.
Moonraker. I liked it.
I need to rewatch that again. I
haven't
remember
seen-
not liking it.
I've
when I
seen
was
View
a
to a
kid.
Kill. Haven't seen it in a long time, and I thought it was eh.
It was alright.
But I gotta say, fucking Sean Connery James Bonds are better.
It's so much better.
Yeah, they're better.
They're so much better.
They're a little bit more like, now I understand what they did with the Daniel Craig James Bond. They were trying to get back to kind of a harder edge. Yeah, the Sean Connery ones were pretty good. Now there is some cheese, but it's nowhere near as cheesy as fucking Roger Moore shit. Nowhere near.
Now I can understand because the Sean Connery ones, which came out in the 60s, when Roger Moore took over in the early 70s, I kind of feel like they were writing the character for Sean Connery, even though Sean Connery was no longer doing the character. So Roger Moore took over, and he couldn't really do the same shit. Because look, we were watching Goldfinger, which came out in 1964. Sean Connery was doing some of the same cheesy ass lines as Roger Moore did in the later ones, but when
work.
Sean Connery does it works.
It worked a lot better, yeah.
When Roger Moore does it, not so much.
And I think the difference is that
Not so much.
Connery was more physically imposing and threatening. He seemed like he would kill you, but he was also cool.
He's a lot sexier.
He was sexy.
And I think Zach pointed that because Zach is talking about
he's a lot sexier.
Roger Moore is not sexy.
No, he's just a handsome guy.
He's handsome, but he's not sexy.
But you're not buying it. You're not buying it. Well, but the exception is that, and I want to see it again. A few months ago, I saw Moonraker. When I first saw Moonraker, when it came out when I was a kid, I didn't like it. And I may have seen it again maybe sometime in the 80s and still didn't like it that much.
Yeah, I didn't
It
love
felt
it.
like a Star Wars ripoff. And it did.
did.
And like something falling short of Star Wars. But I saw it a couple months back and I said, no, this one's actually pretty good. I liked Moonraker.
I'll have to watch it again to...
Yeah, I liked that one.
I'm reserving
and
judgment.
It seemed like, compared to the earlier ones from fucking Roger Moore, he actually seemed like he had grown into the role.
Yeah.
Like that he was James Bond. He wasn't really pretending to be James Bond, that he was James Bond.
I mean, the one that we saw was the first one that he
Yeah,
did, so,
pretty
we
weak.
can't be too hard on him.
Now, Connery, all the two movies that we saw, he's owning that role. That's James Bond.
Yeah, I never got
Yeah.
the sense that he was, like, play acting.
You're right, yeah.
He seemed like that guy.
And he was funny, but not in a goofy way.
Right.
He was cool.
Yeah,
And-
he made, like, quips and stuff,
Yeah,
but
it
it
was cool.
wasn't...
Yeah.
It seemed more organic.
Yeah.
Like
Wasn't
something
as
that
corny.
that dude would really do
Yeah.
instead of something a dude in the movie would do.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Wasn't as corny.
Right.
So, but in general, I would say, from what I've seen so far, Sean Connery, I'm going to give it to Connery and Craig. Roger Moore, I think the work is spotty.
Yeah.
But based on what I know so far, I'm going to continue developing my 007's Roger Moore skills by watching more of the movies. It seemed like he got better later. That's what it seemed
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Seemed
And
like he got
everybody
better
said
later.
that. Everybody said that. I mean, I don't know if we were being uncharitable because we were talking about like the first movie that he had done.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I had seen most of the James Bond movies when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I remember not really liking the Roger Moore ones as much because even back then I kind of felt like they were a little too cheesy for me. A little too cheesy.
I like
And like I said, the ones from the 60s with Sean Connery, they had some like quote unquote cheesy stuff in them. They didn't seem cheesy in that context. And the way that Sean Connery pulled them off, he could pull them off, and I feel like Roger Moore could not.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the problem was that Live and Let Die, which is the one we talked about, the first Roger Moore one, which came out in 1973, I kind of feel like they were still writing for Sean Connery, even though this is a different actor.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like as time went on, the writers kind of learned Roger Moore had a different style and a different,
maybe.
like, and they kind of wrote more to that.
Right.
Because he couldn't do the same shit that Sean Connery could get away with by any stretch of the
I
imagination.
have a feeling about Roger Moore's work. It seemed like the writers ended up. I gotta go back and see this shit again. But it seemed like Roger Moore movies were kind of more intended for an older female audience. That older women would like him.
I'm an older woman and I'm not into
But
it.
older women of those days.
Yeah, back then. Maybe.
Of those days.
Maybe not so much
He wasn't
now.
as edgy, it didn't seem like.
Yeah, not at all.
It looked like that. Looked like that fucking what's it? Fucking Sean Connery. Looked like Connery's work was written more for younger guys of that day,
Right.
of the '60s. Looked like it was more of a male audience, a younger male audience.
Because, man, rewatching Goldfinger, I was like, man, I forgot how fucking good this movie was.
Yeah,
Man, that movie is so fucking good.
Yeah.
And Odd Job is the best part of it.
yeah.
I love Odd Job.
Goldfinger started strong. So
And Pussy Galore is amazing.
Opened with strong scenes. It was action and adventure through the whole thing. Bond was played as a strong character through the whole thing.
And
It was-
serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he had funny lines,
Yeah.
but it wasn't, like, so... Nobody, like, inflated and blew up at the end.
Yeah. And it's an
let's say
action
that.
movie. It's an action movie. It's retro.
Yeah.
But for the day, that would have been an action-packed movie.
It was pretty badass.
Because
I
even
was into
today, the pace is pretty quick. And it's not ridiculous. And then we went to From Russia with Love. It got more... That one, I think it came out the same year, actually.
It did, actually, yeah.
That one was cool, too. I'm not finished with it yet. That was
Yeah, I
cool, too.
fell
It was just
asleep.
different. It had a real good female character in it. The
Yeah.
female villains were good.
Yeah.
You meet the leader of Spectre, but you don't see his face. But you see the cat.
We
It's
love
pretty
the
good.
cat.
Pretty good. So there's like a more of a mystery element, and they're doing and then they're shot better than the Roger Moore ones.
The
Roger Moore ones
cinematography
didn't
and
look
the...
that good.
Yeah, I will say
The early
that.
ones didn't look that good.
Yeah.
It looked like something made for TV.
The Sean Connery, like, especially Goldfinger, like, the cinematography in that was really nice. I had, like, forgotten how nice that movie looked.
Yeah.
Even though I will say
A
that
lot of green screen in it.
that
though.
the early, I was going to say the early shots that were supposed to be Miami
Yeah, that was
were
nice.
kind of like, obviously that's not Miami, because everybody's green screen.
Yeah.
And they just had, like, some shit in the background.
It
Like,
wasn't
here's
shot
this-
in Miami. They just made you think they were in
obviously
Miami.
it's not. Obviously it's not.
Too hot. They don't want to come down here.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest. But yeah, it's pretty obvious now. But probably back then, they didn't really
Yeah.
like bat an eye at it.
Now, I also want to mention that I've seen both Timothy Dalton movies. Timothy Dalton was a good James Bond, but only the first movie was good. The first movie had a harder edge. It was kind of like they were trying to get away from the Roger Moore goofiness and go more towards the Sean Connery, almost fucking Daniel Craig hardness to
Yeah.
it. And it did have good car chases and good shit. But then the audience of the time complained about it. They wanted the Roger Moore cheese back. So this
Why?
crazy. I think it was an older female audience. I think.
What the fuck is up with old ladies back then?
Of the time,
They don't know
yeah.
what's good movies.
They didn't think he was. They wanted him to be romantic and goofy. So
That's not
second-
romantic. That's just dorky.
That's what they thought. Cheese. But the women have always liked to be lied to. Women of that generation, they wanted you to lie your ass off about them. That's
guess.
it was just syrupy,
Not me,
cheesy, laying the shit on fucking dick. All right. The second Dalton movie was like a Roger Moore movie. The script was cheesy.
They try to like fit him into that mold.
Yeah, they try to put him more in Living Daylights, the first Dalton movie. Yeah,
That's
I like
good.
it.
Yeah, I
like
liked that one.
it. And don't watch the second one, just the first one.
But honestly, like watching Goldfinger again last night, because I had seen it probably 2 or 3 times when I was younger. And because I remembered a lot of stuff when we were watching, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that. I remembered a lot of the scenes from it.
Hugo says Goldfinger, Her Majesty's Secret Service, and the Daniel Craig movies. That's what,
Yeah.
that's what he's gonna
I
roll with
forgot, like Goldfinger is so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think that might be, other than the Daniel Craig ones, which are probably still my favorite, but I think Goldfinger might be my favorite.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. So I was like really glad that we were, because HBO Max has a bunch of the old, like kind of a smattering of like the old ones.
We have a whole bunch of 007 comments. Go ahead and go back in there and read them all.
Where are we going?
Everybody's coming.
Hugo says 007 Roger Moore is the Adam West of the Batmans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's a good
That's
analogy.
that's a good analogy.
Actually. Yeah,
At
like,
least from most of the movies that I've seen.
And honestly,
I don't remember Moonraker being like that. But go ahead. Yeah.
well, I mean, I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah.
I remember not liking it when I saw it in the 80s, but
I saw it a couple months
changed
ago.
my mind. I don't know.
I saw it a couple months ago, and I thought he was actually pretty serious in it. I liked the tone.
I'm not a big. Here's the thing: if you're gonna make a spy movie or an action movie or something like that, like if you want to put a little bit of humor in it, fine, okay, fine, I'll accept that. But it's just like, don't try to make it like a straight up. I don't love this whole. We're gonna do this big action set piece, and then we have to have this funny quip at the end. You really don't have to do that. You really don't. You can just make a serious movie. No one's gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah.
You don't have to make everything funny. You know what I mean?
I think there's some stuff above that where they were talking about.
Hold on. They're talking about cats up here. Erica says, "Oh, we're talking kitties now." Yeah. And then Tom made me stop.
Yeah.
Kenny says, "I can't keep pets. I can't deal with the heartbreak when they transition. Please don't make me think about that. Don't make me think about that." But yeah. Zach says, "You guys need to review On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay.
The editor of Goldfinger directed it, and it's a very modern looking and feeling movie. It's so good."
Who started that one?
That was George Lazenby. That was the one that
was the
George
only one he
Lazenby
did,
was
right?
in.
Yeah.
Yes.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service?
Yeah. I don't think... No, I think I might have seen it, but I think I was... Like I said, I've seen all the movies, like when I was younger, but I forgot like a lot of them.
You can get
pretty
used
sure I've
collections with all of them in there. Now, like a collection with all
Max
of them.
might have that one. I think Max has that one. HBO Max has... They don't have all of the James Bond movies, but they have like a large selection.
I almost wouldn't mind buying a used set of all of them, but I'm not going to pay like $100. I know there's a shit ton of them, but
Yeah,
I've
there's a lot.
heard that you can get used sets for like $50. You know what I mean? I'd pay that to have them all.
Yeah. Yeah, Kenny says Roger Moore was more tongue-in-cheek, heavy on the cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of like...
It was almost like Austin Powers. You just
Well, that's what Austin Powers was
Yeah.
spoofing.
Yeah.
And, like, they almost didn't need to spoof
They
it
almost
because
didn't
it
need to
almost
spoof it.
spoofed itself.
It was almost doing that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
From some of that shit that I saw, I was like, it's fucking cheesy.
It didn't seem like a spoof in the
Yeah.
80s, I guess, because that's kind of what everybody was doing. But
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, I've never been a big fan. And this is like any genre.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm a big horror fan. Everybody knows that. I'm not a huge fan of, like, horror comedy. Now, I do like a lot of horror comedies. I'm not saying that. But it's just kind of like, honestly, like, if I'm going to watch a horror movie, I want a fucking horror movie, man.
Yeah.
Like, scare me, like, gross me out, like, something.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be funny. You can put funny in it if you want, but it's like, don't go overboard with that. It's just, I kind of feel like there's a whole thing where it's like, well, we have to put funny shit in it. But no, you don't. You don't. Seriously.
What else they say? There's a bunch of James Bond info in there.
Phantom says sci-fi twist on a Bond film sounds like a good time. Maybe. I mean, that's kind of like Moonraker. Anyway. Phantom also says best Bond car ever has to be the car from Die Another Day. I love that car.
Which one was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You watched that more recently than I did.
Die Another Day. I can't remember which movie that was. There's so many of them. They all...
Hugo says Goldfinger,
Yeah.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service,
Yeah.
and the Daniel Craig movies.
Yeah.
Best ones.
That's his one.
I mean, Goldfinger, I had forgotten how good that movie was. We watched it last night just on a whim, and I was, because HBO Max had it, and I was like, shit. I watched it when I was a teenager, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good, and I forgot all about it. But we watched it again, and I was like, man, that's so good. I forgot how good that movie was.
I want to see the other Sean Connery ones and see if they were good too. You know?
But like I said, we started watching From Russia with Love, but I couldn't stay awake. Like, I kept falling asleep.
It was good.
Because I was, it was late, and
It was pretty good.
I was getting tired.
But
It didn't
it didn't
grab me as much as Goldfinger did.
Yeah,
I mean, Goldfinger
Goldfinger
like
had
kind of
real
it drew
good
you in like immediately.
Yeah, it had real good editing. It was real fast
Yeah,
paced.
immediately.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And I kind of feel like, and we talked about this when the movie first started, From Russia with Love, and I'm not really sure, I'd have to look it up. Because aren't there, like, there are some rights issues with the Bond movies, right?
There were. I'm not sure if they
Well,
still are.
because there's rights to, like, the Ian Fleming novels, and then there's rights that, you know, Cubby Broccoli and the producers have. Because there have been some Bond movies that were made. They're like, well, you can
almost
make a
kind of like semi-bootleg.
yeah, like you can make a Bond movie, but you can't have the theme, and you can't have like the
Look at the gun
opening,
barrel.
like the gun barrel opening and
Yeah.
all that. Like you can't have that, but
That was
like
Never
otherwise
Say- Never
you
Say
can
Never
have
Again.
that. Right, like they have that.
And it never hits the fucking James Bond theme.
Right, so
the music
we were
isn't
watching From Russia with Love, and I was just kind of like, this doesn't even have like a theme song. It just
Yeah.
had like an instrumental,
Intro.
Bondy
Yeah.
kind of theme song. It's like
Yeah.
it didn't have like Goldfinger had the Shirley Bassey like
Yeah.
super over the top, which Tom hated.
Yeah, I hated it. Goldfinger!
Goldfinger.
Shut
I
the
think that was
fuck
like
up, bitch.
Anthony Newley wrote that
Yeah,
shit too.
I didn't,
But,
I didn't like the, I didn't like
It's
the
gay
song
as
at
shit.
all.
I like that song actually. The lyrics are terrible.
Yeah.
They're terrible lyrics.
Yeah, terrible lyrics, terrible.
But it's a good song otherwise. the lyrics are terrible.
I guess it's an acquired
He
taste.
loves gold. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We got.
He loves gold. He walks on gold.
He loves gold
he
a million
shits out
times.
Gold.
That
Yeah.
would have been funny. If they
Yeah,
put
yeah.
that-
So they should- He even shits gold. Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
fucking
That'd
funny,
have
man.
been much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it was a little on the nose. The song was a little on the nose, but I mean, it's good. But as long as you don't listen to the words. But yeah. So From Russia with Love though didn't even have that. It just had kind of like a random instrumental theme song that was kind of like the Bond theme, but with some other shit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was good too. But like I said, we didn't finish watching it because I kept falling asleep because it was late. You know. Phantom says Oddjob was the best character to use in the N64 007 game because he was short and hard to target with the gun, plus he could use his hat as a weapon. Yeah, honestly, I kind of wish... I don't know, man. Like, a lot of the villains were like, Oddjob. That was one of the things that I remembered from when I was a kid, and I had forgotten that he was from this movie.
Yeah, I looked him up when we saw him.
Yeah,
He's
like...
a bodybuilder and wrestler
Yeah.
from Japan. He was from a Japanese family, but living on from Hawaii.
Hawaii. He was from Hawaii, but he
From
was
Hawaii, but from
Japanese
Japanese
originally.
And he won a lot of awards as wrestler, a wrestler, and I think some weightlifting stuff on certain events. He was 5'10", and I think he eventually got up to 240 pounds. He looked natural to me. I don't think he was on gear.
No, probably
He wasn't
not.
lean enough to be on gear. If he was on gear, he'd be a lot leaner. But he was pretty good for his time. Yeah. He looks short next to James Bond.
Next to Sean Connery.
Next to Sean
He's
Connery.
not short,
He's
though.
not short, though. He's 5'10".
Yeah, he was 5'10".
He's 5'10". But I was thinking, man, that dude must be my size, like 5'6". No, he's 5'10".
Yeah.
So
He's a
Connery
great
pretty
he's a
tall.
great fucking villain, though.
Yeah.
And he didn't even have to
Pretty-
talk much.
Yeah, I said he wasn't a really good actor, so they just made him mute at first. But he evidently got a lot better. He was in a lot of other little movies and TV shows and stuff.
American
I forgot his name.
American Military 100 says it's Harold something. Harold
Yeah.
Sakata?
Yeah, that sounds
Something
about
like
right.
that.
Yeah, something like that. Harold was his adopted name. Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
that
correctly.
wasn't his real name, but that was the name that he adopted.
one he used.
American Military 100 said the best James Bond themes are Duran Duran's View to a Kill.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with that. I love Duran Duran.
Yeah,
And that's a great fucking song. Tina Turner's Goldeneye and Madonna's Die Another Day.
Oh, we also forgot Alicia Keys and White Stripes. Fucking Quantum of Solace fucking theme. I like that one. Really like the one from fucking
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. Fucking, that's a really good one.
That was a
I
Chris
think it's called
Cornell.
Chris Cornell.
I
It's called
love
You Know
that
You-
song.
You Know My
You Know
Name.
My Name. That's a great song.
The
Honestly,
other ones are not that good. From the.
do you know that our song,
Yeah.
me and Tom's song,
Yeah.
as a couple,
Yes.
is a James Bond
This is
theme,
James Bond theme song.
and
The world is not enough.
The World Is Not Enough
The world is not enough.
by
yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
I have it on my Spotify.
Yeah, Shirley Manson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that song
That's our
sounds
song.
like that's actually sung from the point of view of the villain, probably.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's why we like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We like it because like the words are kind of like relevant to our relationship.
Yeah.
Is that messed up?
Trying to move up.
Is that messed
The world
up?
is not enough.
It's like I have it on my Spotify, and every time it comes on, we're like, oh,
Yeah, there it is. There's our song. The world is not enough.
Here's our song.
Yeah.
We're gonna take over the fucking
We're like
world.
fucking Bond villains.
We are, well,
Yeah.
you know, we are kind
Yeah.
of. So that's why that's funny, because that's kind of like, it's either that, I kind of feel like our other song is that other garbage song, that I Would Die For You one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah,
That's
one
also
from
one of
fucking the one from that was on the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack.
Yeah,
It's a fucking awesome movie.
But
If
we
you guys
agree.
haven't seen Romeo and Juliet with fucking young little Claire Danes and fucking
And Leonardo
DiCaprio, man, it's a
The
fucking
Baz
classic.
Luhrmann.
Yeah,
Tom loves that
I
movie.
love that movie.
But yeah, but I mean, we agreed that our song was
Yeah,
World Is Not Enough,
yeah.
the garbage song.
CB's going to bed. Good night, dude. Yeah, bro, because garbage.
Yes,
World.
garbage, yeah.
See, you remember they got a lot of good theme songs from Bond. Actually,
Yeah, Hugo said World Is Not Enough is a great song. It is a great song. I
Yeah.
love that song.
And I also liked I liked fucking the Wing song too. Fucking it's just you couldn't dance to that.
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let
I
Die, you
like
can't
that
dance.
song. I don't like it as a Bond theme, though.
It's a little stop and go.
It's,
Yeah,
well,
it's a stop.
to me, like, a Bond theme has a certain indefinable element to it. A certain epicness. And I kind of feel like that song doesn't have that. Like, it's a good song, but not in that context, if that makes any sense. I kind of like, I don't know. The thing about it, though, like, we watched Live and Let Die, and then that fucking song was stuck in my head for, like, 2 weeks afterward. So, you know what I mean? And that song is, like, played on classic rock radio, like, at all times, and I like it. It's just not, it doesn't seem like a Bond theme to me. It doesn't have that, it doesn't have, a cinematic quality. That song doesn't have a cinematic quality to me. Some of the other ones don't either. Like, Goldfinger absolutely does. Like, Tom hates that song, and I don't like the lyrics, but I like the song as a whole. If you don't listen to the lyrics, I think it has that 60s kind of vibe to it, and I'm, like, into that. I don't like the words, because they're stupid, and they're, like, very on the nose, and I'm not into that. But, I don't know. There's some indefinable quality that a lot of Bond themes have.
They have to be real epic.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like Live and Let Die didn't have that. It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not a good Bond theme.
It's got to be epic, and it has to be almost like overreaching on a global level. Like we're talking about taking over the world.
Right.
It's gonna,
That's what I mean. So you have to be like, it has to be like more than a song.
Yeah, it's bigger than big.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So it has to
Right.
have like some kind of indefinable quality to it that's like,
the world is not enough is one of them.
yeah.
Another Way to Die, though. I like that one. That's kind of a it's not 60s epic. It's just a different way. And
How do we feel about Aha's The Living Daylights?
Loved it. I like it.
That's actually a good
I
song.
like it. Yeah, and that was off a good movie. That was off
That's
of
actually
fucking
a good song.
Living Daylights.
Erica says, I like Adele's Skyfall. I did as well.
It's okay. It's okay.
What was the one?
One from Spectre wasn't that good.
I kind of liked the Spectre one.
Yeah. Very much an
Who
acquired
did that
taste.
one?
I had to listen to it. It doesn't sound as epic. And
Who did that
what
one?
was the last movie that he made? I don't even know if I own that movie. Do I?
No
own
Time
that?
to Die.
No Time. Maybe I do own it.
Who did the song for that one?
I may not own that one. I gotta go check and see if I bought that one yet.
Now I
I
can't
thought
remember.
I had bought the Northman, but I didn't. I went looking for it.
All right.
You know the if you guys haven't seen the Northman, see that one too. That one's just like
I loved that movie.
that's like Conan Part 2. That's how good it is. And I'm a fucking
Oh,
huge...
Sam Smith did Spectre. I mean, I kind of like. I'm not.
Hey, stop tearing shit up.
Oh my god.
Why are you tearing up? Why are
You know
tearing
why
up the
she's
library?
tearing.
And then she looks at me like I wouldn't do anything, Dad.
I wasn't doing it.
Okay, look, I'm gonna fucking blow on you. I'm gonna blow on your bed.
Oh,
Where are
okay.
you going? And she's running. She knows what I'm talking about. She understands what I say. She knows English.
Well, like I said,
Partially.
we've raised Pookie since she was a tiny kitten.
Hey, I told you no.
She understands
She knows
every
what
single
no means
thing
easily.
that
She's
we're
like,
saying.
fuck you.
She's just a brat.
Little fat ball.
Don't call her fat.
Fat ball.
She's like, Daddy,
Blow on you.
don't call me
I'm
fat.
gonna blow on you. She's not in the mood for freaking out. 'Cause I'm blowing on her.
Look at her.
Daddy, see, look, Daddy blew on you. It's like, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, you gonna let me bite you? You gonna let me bite you? What? What? No. Oh, she started trying to smack Daddy. Trying to smack Daddy. Okay,
She
get
does
it.
smack you.
Yeah.
Aw. And then she goes back and tears the
Yeah.
books up.
Oh, she cut me, I think.
I mean, that's the reason that I have all the shitty
Yeah.
books on the bottom.
Now she's looking back at me. She's fucking shit up and she's looking at me. You gonna stop me?
She knows. She
Yeah.
knows. Yeah, Eric says Pookie wants attention. Always.
Yeah.
Always. She's mad because earlier, before the show started, she has a whole ritual with Daddy.
Yeah.
We get her the Sheba tuna meat sticks. And she comes to the side of the bed. And she sits there very patiently and looks at us with her big eyes. Like it's meat stick time. But the thing about it is that Tom has to hold the meat stick.
Yeah. You gotta hold it.
You gotta hold it. And then she'll sit there and like lick it. And she'll do it for like ages. She's like, oh yeah.
Just licking on it, not chewing
She
on
just
it.
lick it. She doesn't bite it or nothing.
Yeah.
She's just like licking on it. And then finally Tom's like, look, I can't sit here all the goddamn
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of, and then he'll drop it on the floor and then she gets real mad.
She's like, fuck this.
She gets super indignant. She'll,
Yeah. Yeah, you see her go, and run off.
and then she runs out the room.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then she gets like super upset about it.
Yeah.
So she has like a whole thing.
Yeah.
She has a whole thing. So if you don't pay enough attention, she does this.
Yeah.
Like she'll do it in the bedroom too. Like if you don't pay attention to her in the bedroom, she'll jump up on your nightstand and start pushing stuff
Yeah.
off of it.
She
Like,
really thinks
until you
she's-
pay
She really
attention.
thinks she's the center of the universe. She's got solipsism pretty bad.
Well, she's a kid.
She's like, the world is about Pookie.
And like I said,
Yeah.
we have raised her since she was a tiny
Yeah.
kitten.
And when I say
So-
her name, she looks at me.
She knows her
Like
name.
I said her name just a minute ago, and she looked
knows
back
her
and
name.
said, what?
She knows her name.
She speaks English, or understands English pretty well. They're not dumb.
I'm pretty sure she understands 90% of everything that I'm
I
saying
wouldn't
to
say
her.
90. 30. I'm sure she doesn't, her vocabulary isn't that big, but she knows what we're talking about, kind of.
She understands tone.
And certain words.
Yeah, and she knows certain words for sure.
Yeah.
And more than, I kind of feel like it's interesting that because we've had Pookie since she was tiny, and we got Bambi when she was already a year and a half old, it's kind of interesting to like see the difference between them. Like Bambi she kind of knows what you're talking about, but it's
Doesn't
just
really
kind of,
care.
she doesn't really care. She doesn't really know her name. Pookie absolutely knows her name.
And she says she'll watch us.
Yeah.
You know, knows what we're going to do. She's very in your fucking face. about
Yeah,
everything.
she's very interactive.
Yeah.
Very interactive. And it's just kind of like, if you're doing anything, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Whereas, like, kind of Bambi is just kind of like, kind of interested, but she's like, are you going to pet me or not? Or if not, I'm going to go wander off and go to
If
sleep.
I'm working on anything in the house, she'll try to get right in the middle of
Pookie
it.
will,
Try to
yeah.
help me.
Yeah, she's like,
I'll
what are you
grab
doing?
tools and shit, and she's trying to grab tools.
She's like, I can do
Yeah.
that. You
If I
can't
was-
you can't make the bed.
No.
Every day we make the bed. Pookie jumps up on it and, like,
Yeah. Runs around and tries to.
she tries to help you make the bed.
It's ridiculous.
She tries
But
to
if
help
she
you
could
make
get to
the
the
bed.
garage while I was working on the car, she'd try to get in there and help with the car.
Oh, I'm sure.
Try
I'm
to get
sure.
on top of the hood and look. Get underneath the car with you and go, yeah,
What you
yeah,
doing?
yeah, fix that. Yeah. Your hands are dirty. Yeah, that kind of shit.
What you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's very much in your face.
Pookie thinks she's a tiny person.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Bambi,
She knows she's a cat.
she knows that she's a cat.
Yeah.
Well, because we didn't get her until she was a year and a half old.
Yeah.
She had already had a litter by the time we got her. So she's more aware that she's a cat.
Yeah.
But, so it's a totally different dynamic. But,
Pookie thinks she's a baby.
yeah, Pookie thinks she's a human.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah, Iris says Pookie's jealous and attention-seeking middle
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. Pookie thinks she's a human baby.
Yeah, well, we treated her like a human
Yeah.
baby. I mean, we can't
Kinda,
really.
yeah. We didn't have a choice though. That's just what happened.
That's just yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we got her when she was tiny. She still had her eyes were still blue when we got
Yeah.
her. So I think she was only 6 weeks old
Yeah.
when we got her.
All right, Jim. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to wear out.
She's running wear out.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I guess we'll wrap
We've
it
been
up.
on for 3 hours.
That's true. All right. So I guess we're gonna knock it off for
Yeah.
the evening, and maybe go to bed.
Unless
might
you're
be.
hungry.
I mean, I'm always
ate.
hungry. You know what I mean?
ate already, though.
We
all
did
the
eat
time.
already. I might get a small Deborah or something like that. But yeah, I got some donut sticks and shit like that. So I might get one of those. But yeah, so hopefully you guys had a good time this evening. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is my favorite show of the week. You guys always know that. So Monday, I don't know what movie we're gonna do. We haven't watched it. I might do. I watched Baghead, and so I might put up a review of that over the weekend. We'll see how that goes. If I have time to like record it, I will. And I also read another book that was like a novella that I might put a review up of too. But we'll see how that goes. It's always kind of like whenever I have time to do it, because I have like some other shit I have to do with the weekend. But we'll see. So yeah, thanks you guys for hanging out with us this evening, and we will see you guys again on Monday night. Please have a good weekend. Be safe, and we will see you guys again on Monday night. Good